Oh, we're on a hype train. Thanks so much, friends. That's awesome. If you've got any subs ready to renew, please let us know. Please click those resub buttons. And if you've got a Twitch Prime thing where you've got a free sub, you've got an Amazon Prime that you've got a free sub, throw it our way because it doesn't cost you anything and it helps us out too. Hey everyone, welcome back to our Song of Ice and Fire Game of Thrones role-playing campaign. Where we have been playing for ages. Green Ronin's Chronicle system, which they just re-released and redeveloped slightly as Sword Chronicle, because obviously the Game of Thrones license is coming up to an end with them, and they've done some really nifty little things, little tweaks to it that I'm really interested in putting into the game. So keep your eye out for those folks, and guys, I'll explain when we're coming up to them, like what they mean. There's a lovely little bit about intrigue results now that I want to highlight to you folks. But we have split people up a little bit to focus a bit more on some of the intrigue stuff, and I am very excited to welcome Greg back this week as well to guest as Maker. He has been with us in spirit at this tourney more than he has actually been present, so now we're going to give people an opportunity to speak to the wonderful man that is Maker Targaryen. But first, let me have a chat to all the lovely people that have been assembled here today to play this game. Hello, Charlie. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thankfully, Virginia just rescued me because I couldn't figure out how to get chat to pop out anymore on Twitch.
Pro.
I'm not a professional streamer or anything, it's fine. I am super excited to be back and very interested to follow through on some stuff with Maekar Targaryen. I found like the last couple of shows I kept high-key forgetting he existed because if Greg's not here, it's like object permanency. And I was like, I can't talk to him, so I might as well forget he exists. But also Marcia can't forget he exists. He's a very important person in her life. And I think he's going to be a very important person in what's going on. He's got the juicy fruits. My juicy fruit senses are tingling.
He does have some fruits to juice. Spoiler alert. Cool. But obviously, with Premiere Week kind of been and gone, shows are bedding in. How are they doing? You doing all right? I caught a little bit, I think, of Pendragon the other day, and was like, what has this changed into? All right.
Okay, so this week has been a really fun week, actually. Tonight, we don't have any Star Trek Adventures, as unfortunately our GM has some stuff going on. But this week has been really cool in that on Monday, we got to play the Crown Lands, our Game of Thrones game. But we did it using Terra RPG, which Don and I have been working on and developing.
So fun.
And we got to do the Burning of Tyrosh. And then Tuesdays, as you caught, was Pendragon, Secrets of Pendragon, which is Blackadder meets Call of Cthulhu Dark Ages. We tried very briefly to have this be a serious show, and it just didn't work out. So now it's hilarious every week on Tuesday, and everyone is always in agony afterwards from all the laughing, because we just can't help ourselves. And I'm very sorry, Tom. I tried really hard to chase the plot this week. I tried. I walked straight towards it, straight at it, running headlong. And then yesterday was the penultimate episode of our Mage Hand Press Dark Matter game.
Yeah.
And then after that, we do Cult Iron Pilgrim, which is our very adult horror game. It's not messing about. It's real horror, like, Haunting of Hill House. It doesn't mess around. We do our best to kind of do caution warnings and stuff so people go into it knowing what they're getting into. But it's really fun to do a very different type of show and to get to explore those things. And then I get to come here and wear, my next wig of the day and be Marcia on a Thursday. So that's fun.
I'm looking forward to it too.
Go. Awesome.
Yeah, cool. Speaking of looking forward to it, I'm sure Tom is this week. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, thank you. Really good.
Good.
I'm always look forward to playing Enzo. Such a fun, happy chappy, and he's just having a good time. There's a beautiful tournament in front of me. The best that Westeros has to offer for fighting. There's wine. There's laughter. What's not to love?
Enzo in my head just became Freddie Mercury, and I'm so here for it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Sorry, Tom.
That's all right.
I still haven't caught up with Susie's Crownland session where she soloed as a player character and we had lots of guests and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Did Enzo do a thing there. I got a
Yeah,
hint from Monday's battle that he was messing around with things.
So essentially, throughout the entire thing, Enzo was meant to be there at the party to, just have a little cameo, an Easter egg kind of thing there, because he's jaunt around Westeros, just experiencing life. And things just got so complicated and into the thing that there wasn't any time. And I thought, oh, well, it's fine. Enzo doesn't have to be there. It's fine. And Charlie goes, oh, no, he's there. He's there. Would he steal a ship? And I went, I mean, not really. He might steal a ship if he needed a ship. So we came up with the idea that he was at the party, but the party was dreadfully boring because it's a Baratheon party. It's the fucking Baratheons, So he had sick and tired of it. So he went, stole a player's ship at the very end, tied the player's lover to the mast naked and sailed away north because he was bored of the party.
That's amazing.
So that was Enzo's little cameo in the Crownlands. It was fun. The idea was all Charlie's, so she has the credit for it.
Blame is what he means.
Blame. But yeah, it's great, and it's just even more reasons why I want to play more Enzo, because it's just, you just do fun stuff like that. It's great, and I can't wait to see what he gets up to, and of course to see what Greg gets up to, because it's always a blast to have Greg on. Always, no matter what.
Of course. And V, you have, like me today, had to endure a lot of London traffic. So if I miss anything tonight, friends, if I'm a bit then it's because I've driven like 4 hours today in London.
Yeah, we had to go into the office, and Sam very kindly picked me up and dropped me off, and we left the office at like 3:00, and I don't think Sam got back to mine until like 6, nearly like 3.5 hours travel. It was something. I'm doing okay.
Good.
I have a cocktail now, so I've recovered.
Good. Okay. I've just got some like orange fizz, so
Oh, Sam. But yeah, I'm really excited for this for so many reasons. Because Mara and Sam will obviously stick pretty close to each other for very obvious reasons. So it's kind of nice that she gets to do something while he's off preparing for the next melee bout. And I've also never actually been in an episode that Greg has been in, ever. I've watched them, but I've never been in them. So I'm excited for that. I don't know if they
bump into each other.
Yeah, just who doesn't want to have small talk? She's already waved a sword around at, his brother, so what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, that's true. True.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah.
Don't do that with this brother.
I'm looking forward. She doesn't really have a sword. She has a bow right now, but no arrows, because she's just kind of stuck with Samwell's bow, which is now a thing. She hasn't got anyone to give it to because Gregor's off with him. But it's also fun because it means hopefully I get to actually have a conversation with Enzo where I'm not drunk on wine and asleep. And I don't know, I'm hoping that maybe there will be a conversation between Mara and Marzia, or at least Mara and Bryn. I want to see my brother. But yeah, I'm excited because I don't know what's going to happen here. I have not planned for this.
That's fine. I have vaguely planned for this. I've mostly taken requests and figured out some other my NPC stuff too, so that's all good. And speaking of one of my NPCs, here he is again. Thank you so much for coming back on, Greg. It is always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you all for having me. I hate that there's an expectation with Maekar. It's tough to be. I really thought this was a 1, perhaps a 2 off with Maekar, because I couldn't think or contemplate anybody allowing him to live beyond a specific period of time in this game. And here we are again. Death is always on my mind. The assassination of the Game of Thrones it's right there. I have put a pin in it, and I'm just waiting until the day the knife strikes back or front. I can't wait to be here. Great people, great story, a fabulous GM, and a story for the ages. I will try to not drop the ball.
Oh, no. I don't think you could. You just inhabit the guy, and I let you just go. Like, that first session, where you came in and kind of stormed Fox Hollow. It's just so well, just kind of blew me away. I honestly kind of blacked out for most of it. I had to go watch it back. It was something. So the energy you bring is always awesome. So I'm really happy that you're back in to give us a go. And
thanks, buddy.
I'm not gonna.
I would like to say too. I just
Yeah,
I saw Susie said something. I do have my Sir Reardon armor on, so
yeah. Well, you got to prepare for a melee, right?
correct. That's what I was told. So I wore my best.
There we go. All right. Nice. Cool. All right. So this is our intriguey session as the melee is going on in the background. So we are calling this episode 7, Melees and Murmurs. Marcia, as the melee rages on and contestants, hedge knights, knights of quality, lords, and their entourage all get drawn lots, head into that ring to fight 7-on-7 and take ransoms. There's obviously a game to be played outside of that with the lords and ladies that are here, and sat on your in the kind of like royal-esque box, in your lords and ladies box in the center of the grandstand for the noble people. You have a freedom to. Where did everyone go? What's going on? Did someone just disappear?
We just had a Phantom James joining our Zoom call.
Yeah.
There we go.
What the hell?
That was bizarre.
Phantom James, be gone. You are not invited
just-
to this intrigue.
And I was on a roll. I was forming words and everything. Right, sorry, let's get back on track. I think you just clicked the wrong thing. Okay. You obviously have an opportunity here. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. You are free to move about the grounds. And so you have an opportunity to pursue anything that you need. I think we're heading into kind of mid-afternoon on the first day. So this is the first round as well. So while the crowd is moving around, while we're looking at, you know, there are some picks in terms of really good quality knights people might want to see, but there are a couple of rounds where it's basically just some hedge knights kind of slapping each other that aren't that great. So yeah, if you can head into it. One thing I should start with that I'm being poked at, this is probably what James was trying to do, was mention Roll20. So we're using Roll20 because we're in the Roll20 Spotlight as well. That's what I was all about. So it's kind of a sponsorship, but it's kind of not, because I've used Roll20 on a pro account for ages, and it is absolutely worth it. So all the rolls today are courtesy of Roll20. So yeah. So speaking of roles, who do you want to go and chat to, and hopefully maybe some intrigues and stuff?
So I think that Marcia has actually encouraged Bryn to talk with Lady and Lord Oakhart for the moment, because she had them come and sit closer to her box after they were kind of distressed. And while it's not a show of we're making besties, it's just a nice gesture of, you can't talk to your son, here's Bryn. Enjoy. He's very chatty. Have a good time. Because I think he gets fidgety, right? Children do well to begin with and then rapidly lose attention. So it's, here's someone to talk to, and you really can't fuck it up because they murdered someone. So where you go. And I think she wants to go and speak to Prince Maker, to be honest, who I imagine is sat relatively close to the box, if not in the box. I'm not sure how many seats we have in here, but I
think the way I would like to frame
royalty.
this is that you ask a couple of people, as knights and soldiers, and also just other people of the crowd are starting to move about around the grandstand. You descend the stairs, you head over, and ask where he might be, and he is essentially convalescing a little bit in his tent, which is set up in a larger glade where the champions' tents were set up. Along here, besides Maekar's tent, and maybe you can help me with reminding me here, the Sword in the Morning, Soloin Dane's tent. There is a space for a Baratheon tent that hasn't been pitched. There is then a tent for Lord Ellery Peak, Miria's champion and betrothed. And which was the final one? There was a
Tyrell.
of course, yeah. So you're liege lord, Lord Leo Tyrell.
My best friend.
He's on the end, I imagine.
Under a really big tree. Big oak tree that he hides under. Yeah. One.
So as you approach, there are a couple of guards looking fairly casual, just by his tent, and they recognize you, as you are the host of this tourney. And Greg.
Additional
Lady-
context
Oh,
really
yeah, cool.
quickly.
Yeah.
Greg's wife, or not Greg's wife, Maekar's wife, Diana Dane, is judge for the various contests going on. Just because I don't know if we warned Greg about that, but that's what
No,
she's
I
up
was
to.
terrible in his brief this week. So, yeah. So, Maekar's wife, and she was a Dane as well. She is a judge for the contest. So, Greg, where essentially Lady Marcia is trying to get entrance to your tent. Do you let her in immediately? Do you want to make her wait? Anything like that?
I think we lost Greg.
I think Greg might be frozen.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
we
because
go.
he was staying in that position an awful
I think he
lot.
went to go and ask his wife what she was up to.
Right?
All right, we're going to be back in like 2 minutes, folks. I'm going to play the video, and then hopefully we can get Greg back in. It's a cursed episode. Of course it is. Give us 2 minutes.
So it begins.
Hi, friends. We decided to just we're gonna do something else. Well, we're gonna wait for Greg. He might be having some storm issues or some like technical difficulties. He's probably got to restart and stuff. So we'll give him some time. We'll all go wonky again in a minute. It'll be fine. So yeah. Let's pick up then with Enzo because I know that you want to go and speak to Lady Rowan. How did you want to go and kind of approach that? How did you want to like lay out the scene?
So Enzo had invited Lady Rowan up to the box where Marcia is and all the distinguished guests are. And essentially throughout the melee, he's going to be doing like little small talk here and there, and while watching, and then just to kind of like butter her up, I suppose. And then have a conversation to kind of big up Marcia, essentially.
Well, so here's something that can help then in terms of the new intrigue, some of the new intrigue rules that are coming in.
Okay.
Is that wanting her to like you or to like the house? I guess like you more, to be honest, is the consequence that we can have. Is there's now a separation between consequences of an intrigue and also the objective that you impose upon them. So the consequence is based on the technique. You know how if you land the kind of killing blow with charm, they like you more. If you land it with taunt, then they don't like you, but they kind of do it. If it's intimidate, then you know they suddenly like you very much, and then they go in. So whenever it says the consequences for defeat on the technique thing, that's what's going to happen automatically. That's the little mechanical thing you're going to get out of it.
Okay.
And then, because you also have an objective whenever you go into an intrigue, that's what you want the other person to either do or think or say or whatever it is. That's a secondary thing. So you could have absolutely what you framed right now, which is that you want her to like you more. But I've forgotten what the other thing you said.
I wanted her. She already quite likes me from the previous intrigue that we did when dancing.
Here he is.
So I think he basically wants Lady Rowan to consider Marcia as an ally and a friend that can be used at Highgarden. He's really bigging her up for a political ally.
Yeah.
That's basically what he's going for.
Nice. So yes, you can have both of those things still happen. So you can be, charming to her, and then she'll like you more, and you'll get that bonus to your next intrigue and all that kind of stuff. But you'll also get it so that you'll get that bump. You'll get the objective of Marcia being more of an ally. You're convincing her of that thing. So yeah. And the cool thing is, as well, is that to flag this up now, I guess, with the results of these intrigues now, is that it's not like thought magic. It's not like you then have to go and do that thing necessarily. If you don't then fulfill the obligation of the objective, then you start acquiring stress as your character. That gives you -1 dice to certain tests. If you get enough stress, so if you don't do enough, if you don't fulfill enough of the obligations that are imposed upon you, you start getting drawbacks. So you also have both an in character, I guess, or a character based, and a kind of meta decision to make for whether you're going to do the thing or not, whether you're going to fulfill the NPC's objective or not. If you were influenced and if you lost all your composure.
Yeah.
It's also possible to be. For say you were intriguing with 2 other people here, Tom, and one of them landed the killing blow. We're actually going to keep a tally of how much influence each character does to somebody, because the one with the most influence dealt to someone's composure is the one who gets their objective. Whereas it's like the killing blow, if it to pardon the parlance from combat, gets the consequence. So gets the charm benefit, or gets the taunt, or the intimidation.
So
benefit.
they basically kill steal. Not in the old system.
They
would just come in, kill, steal, and go.
But the person that has done the most damage gets their objective across, because they've obviously affected the character the most, right? So it's really nice. It's a nice tweak that we haven't looked at before. So yeah. Okay, so you've invited her up to the royal box, I think I'm going to give you a bonus dice on your status test.
Brilliant. Okay.
For
I do have a question. Do
breathing.
I still have the +1 dice from the previous night from my successfully charming her during the dance?
So this is part of a tiny tweak as well, not a tiny correction from the new rules. This is +1 bonus dice on all of your persuasion deception tests for this.
Okay.
For this
interesting. Okay, interesting.
It used to be +1 test dice, and that was a bit like, which is
really
why
OP.
I amended it to like just maybe the first test. But no, +1 bonus is good for me, to be honest.
Okay. So I hope that she accepted his invitation up to the royal kind of, which was beautifully decorated, as Enzo made sure with lots of carved forget-me-nots and beautiful kind of flowing silks. And well, it wasn't silks, was it? We didn't have silks. We had just colourful. I don't know what we had.
You've talked a lot about silks. I swear you asked the guy running the tourney to chuck loads of silks on this.
I did, yeah. Because I said, you have got anything? And he said, well, we got some around the bottom, around the pit, kind of to thing. And I said, well, move those up there because I want all eyes.
It was like this, right? It was like
it was this. I want the box like this all the time. The important people are up there. That's just down there. That's just entertainment. This is where the eyes want to be.
Are we still carrying on with some of the forget-me-nots motifs?
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be like little forget-me-nots there, carved forget-me-nots as well into the thing, because that poor bastard was up all night. Doing carpentry and stuff.
They've been grown like, they probably you probably had an entire field of forget-me-nots like
not
cultivated and everything. But that you've cut down for all of this.
Just bulldoze the entire field to make sure that we can use it. We had that lovely moment
with Marzia dropping them for like that morning because we didn't do it on the actual ball. You've got them all kind of wrapped around any pillars and stuff like that, particularly the Marzia's box as well. So okay. So with a bonus dice to your status test.
Okay.
Roll me your status breeding for.
It's not particularly great, but I do have that bonus dice. So let's see what happens.
She did quite well on that one. 17.
Only 12.
Okay. Cool. No worries there. All right. So she will go first. She is going to consider. So you've got. Excuse me. She's got a bit of space to. Chat, and we can role play the exchange, and then you're free to pick an action and a technique.
Okay, so the way I feel that he would so far it's just been little nattering here and there, like, oh, that's a good strike and stuff like that. And I feel like once the melee has stopped for a break or for changing over or whatever it is, during that break, he will take that moment to kind of just lean over and Lady Rowan, how are you liking the melee?
Very much, sir, very much.
I hope it is to Highgarden standard.
Well, we do not know yet. His lordship hasn't fought.
Of course. I'm still relatively new to Westeros, but does Highgarden have any tournaments of their own?
Of course.
Any in recent memory?
Several, most quite small, some small competitions. Knights are always coming and going from the castle town. And his lordship certainly practices a lot.
Well, hopefully we can see that practice in practice fairly shortly. So only small, nothing as large or grand as this recently.
No, this must be the largest tourney in several years, perhaps.
Well, you see, when Lady Marzia approached me to this, wanting a tourney, she wanted it to be one of the finest. She understood these were dark times, that people needed cheering up. People needed something to cheer for, to unite us all again. So she demanded the best, and of course she chose me. So, I did my best, and I hope my best is suitable for yourself's needs.
Thank you. And you can see she's blushing a little bit from you paying particular attention to her as well.
Okay. So at the moment, that's just basically buttering up. I'm charming her.
Sure.
That's what I'm doing at the moment.
Is this just a normal kind of influence action?
You
you going straight for composure already?
You know what?
Do you want to try something?
I'm going to retarget. I want to see how she feels about me. I mean, I met her once during a dancing, and I was successful. But was that because the dancing was, I want to know like whether or not how she feels towards me, and it can kind of change one way or another what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So it will be my awareness empathy versus the passive deception roll. Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
So actually, I have a bonus dice there. Oh, hang on. Let me change that because sometimes it doesn't work. So 2 bonus dice because I got 1 in empathy. Go. 17.
Very good. Yeah. So her disposition towards you is affectionate.
Brilliant. That's what I wanted.
Well, so I mean that tells you, Tom, that you don't really need to do any more buttering up.
No, I can go straight for the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use other techniques if you like. You don't have to, but just a consequence of defeating her if you do so, with charm, would be that you don't get any further.
Yeah, understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So I get an extra 1d for my next persuasion test.
+1 dice for your next persuasion.
Yeah.
Oh, your deception test, obviously.
Okay. So now that he kind of reads and he reads the face with the blushing and the little smile, my lady, it must be awfully difficult for you in Highgarden, a lone woman in a chamber with all those lords. It must be difficult for you to get your voice heard.
I have done my best in order to hear it heard, let us say. I was quite it's been a few years now, and I really thought of myself quite young looking back when I had to essentially declare that I was to run the house and become the Marshal of the North Marches. It's a title that you can understand, obviously, carries a lot of weight with a lot of men, and it has not been easy on that front, I can assure you.
Of course, someone of such youth taking so much responsibility. I do not think many would have been able to do it, but if I do say, you have come out with roses.
She stares at you with her green, beautifully light green eyes, and she says, "Sir, I am a Rowan born of Golden Grove, our own fortunes made, and I am going to. This is called Shield of Reputation."
Okay.
So you'll retarget now.
Yep.
Some more tweaks. It's +1 bonus dice for the rest of the intrigue. So you're up to 2 bonus dice for this intrigue, because of the charm of the previous one.
Okay.
Obviously, you cannot roll more bonus dice than you have test dice. Remember?
Of course. Yeah. I do remember. Yep.
Coolio. So this is going to be a status test. I think reputation applies because it's your reputation. Against your passive will, if you equal or beat your target's passive will, your target's disposition automatically improves by 1 step.
Okay.
So you can do this once per intrigue. And doing this is considered to be exerting influence on the target. All right. Only because that only comes into play if you want to lower or raise your disposition at the end of a round.
Okay.
Which you can do voluntarily. So this is status with some reputation. 10. into passive will.
That does not break my passive will, no.
Okay.
It's a fail.
Okay. So I think you can see that that's kind of a... It's not a stock answer. I think she's very genuine about that. But she's kind of maybe using the house as a shield.
He'll not. A strong and admirable house. I admire people who take control of their own destiny and take action themselves. As myself, I came from humble beginnings and now I am here. I see maybe a little of me in you. Although if I do say so, someone else, Lady Marzia also reminds me of you too. I mean, she herself was not abandoned, but left alone in a house that she had to fight tooth and nail to control and to keep running. It was a difficult year for the Greenmonts, but here we stand with a glorious tournament.
And there's like a cheer, I think, at that point, as another clash of swords and axes and bludgeons swing around the melee.
Tell me, my lady. Actually, I forgot. What's her first name?
Faye.
Faye. I go, forgive me, my lady. Faye. What do you know of Marzia? Have you ever met her?
I don't believe we'd ever been formally introduced. She hasn't been to court in quite some time.
No. Particularly busy.
I can understand.
But hopefully to rectify that reasonably soon, once the tournament is over, I feel she should see Highgarden in all its beauty.
I do too.
Perhaps then you could do me a favor, that when we do come to Highgarden, that you could show her around to the most beautiful places there. I think you would certainly enjoy her company.
You want to roll for me there, Tom? I think that's a good point to make it.
So I'm definitely convinced. This is 100% convinced.
For sure.
What do I do with convince?
So this doesn't benefit from your famous ability.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so it's just normal persuasion, but I get two bonus dice.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. 15.
That is 1 degree of success.
Oof. And what is it? Will rank?
Convince is will rank, yeah. So
that's 3. That's 3. You know.
Well, knowing that she's affectionate towards you, that is still gonna reduce it by a couple. So that's fine. Just a little chink off that. You know, as you're talking, I want to maybe frame a little bit of a benefit she's got. You notice that there is an older knight that has accompanied her here to this Lords and Ladies box, and this is essentially her cohort, Sir Osmond.
Oh,
and he is, you can tell, listening into the conversation.
Okay. I haven't noticed him disapprove of anything I've said so far, have I?
He has been as stoic as you expect knights like this to be.
Okay, that's good. If the knight isn't moving, I'm doing something right. That's what I've learned. It's when the knight starts moving, I'm in trouble. Okay, so I haven't stepped over the mark.
So she's going to then, as there's a pause in the conversation, you watch a bit more of the melee, she asks, consider yourself a martial man, Enzo?
Oh, myself, well, I can handle myself in a scuffle, but personally, against these formidable fighters, I'm afraid that I would probably lose.
I don't think so. You're antics have been heard throughout the Seven Kingdoms. I'm sure that your what is it? The Waterblade abilities would give some of our Westerosi knights a run for their money.
Yes, the water dancer. The water dancers of Bravos. It is something that I have picked up over time. It is a beautiful thing to see. It is almost like a dance. It is better. It is more of a avoid getting hit rather than aggression. I might be able to do a few rounds with the odd knight here and there, but I'll let you in on a little secret. All those antics with me using my prowess, I kind of always stack the odds into my favor. It's a smart thing to do.
As you're saying this, the two of you are starting to lean in together, and she's giving you her full attention, smiling throughout. I'm going to roll seduce.
Okay.
Some influence here. 16.
Oh, that actually does. Let me just double check. Okay, that is, what was it, 16?
Yeah.
I think that's 2. It's 11, mine. 5
2
ahead, 16 is 2 degrees,
2
yeah.
degrees
yeah.
of success. I so infrequently use seduce. I want to check what the it's persuasion rank is the actual influence. Okay, so you're going to take 8 influence.
Oh, wow. Oh my god. Okay. Holy mackerel. All right. Woo. She's getting Enzo flustered.
Susie's singing Kiss the Girl in chat.
Enzo is not used to this.
Are you kidding? Okay. Enzo is mechanically attractive.
I mean, he's mechanically attractive, but normally he can resist the advances of this. But there's something about her that's really catching his interest. Yeah, probably because the fact that she's on her own. She's kind of self-made in a sense.
Not just your everyday fangirl.
Well, exactly, right?
Yeah, she carries herself with some power, and from Enzo's point of view, I think she is a beautiful 22-year-old lady.
Okay.
Blonde hair, green eyes.
Okay. With him being taken aback, slightly.
I love that. Like, there's this. I think maybe like there's a pause, a moment where they're not really talking, and maybe he's. I love that he's processing. Like,
yeah. And so I'm going to consider. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to consider because he's processing what the hell is going on. And in his mind, he's done flirtations with ladies and stuff like that. But he is not of noble stock. He is not. He is a commoner that just became. So he never envisioned that any noble lady would be, want more than. But he's like going, hang on a minute, maybe.
Yeah.
So he's just going to consider.
Yeah, I think at this point, I'm not going to role play it all out, but things turn a bit more personal for her. Obviously, for so far, she's been quite kind of I'm a Rowan, and it's been quite a little bit formal. But now that you're a little bit closer together as well, I mean, she's speaking a bit more quietly. Just like John in season 8, like you're kind of like over her shoulder, you can see her cohort kind of standing behind, just kind of looking down at you.
I know, right? Scary. I was like, oh,
as she's talking, but yeah, she doubles down a bit. I think, essentially, in inviting you to see her again, she's gonna invent some kind of. She's gonna be vague about it, but kind of like perhaps a drink, or perhaps. You can see the house. I don't know. Anyway, she might be more coherent than that. Let's roll. Let's see what happens.
All right.
15.
That is one degree of success.
So that is going to be just 4 influence dealt to your composure.
Okay. That is me out.
If you want, you can take frustration, and each point of frustration absorbs your will rank of composure.
He's not gonna. He's enjoying himself
Okay.
and being invited to have a drink later. There's nothing wrong with that. He'll absolutely accept.
Okay. So the consequence of the seduction is that she instills feelings of pleasure and affection in Enzo, blinding you to her faults or ulterior motives.
Okay.
Enzo's disposition is going to be improved up to affectionate.
Okay, already there.
Because it is equal to their rank in persuasion, which I think, because we've got a more of a truncated list of things.
Yeah.
Maybe it's half persuasion, but it's up to affectionate. If the target is attracted to your gender and capable of physical love and at least friendly, they may be willing to share an intimate moment. So this then basically sets them up for, let's just say, that the objective is that you are going to seek her out later.
Yep.
For a more private meeting.
Okay.
Each day after being seduced, the target's disposition shifts down 1 until it falls 1 step below their starting disposition.
Okay.
Though this no longer becomes possible if the target's disposition falls below friendly. That's something else, sorry.
Oh, right, okay.
You gotta keep seduction topped up, you know.
You just gotta keep
People
going.
get bitter and unloved after a
Yeah,
while.
you know, like after all of that, you know, where's my cuddles, you know? Where's my cooches?
Exactly. Where's my cooches? Yeah.
So at the end of that, so I like to see that maybe there's a break and we have to go elsewhere. You know, Enzo wants a drink, and he starts going away, and he pauses. He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm supposed to get Matzia to in favor with."
Which is
It's
still
fine.
Which is still on the table. Like that's
But-
not necessarily going to be.
But in
That's not
typical
off- that's not off the
Enzo
table,
fashion,
yeah.
he put himself above what originally wanted, and he's quite happy with it. So he just went, "Yeah, I got a beautiful woman with the drink later. Great."
Nice. All right. Let's head back to the Champions Glade, or what was the Champions Glade, and to Marcia stood in front of Makar's tent, having. Would you have announced yourself, or would you expect the guards to announce you?
I think she would have stated fairly loudly to the guards who she was, assuming Prince Makar would hear.
So Greg, from inside Makar's tent, he can hear that Lady Marcia is outside. But it's entirely up to you and over to you guys now to decide whether you let her in immediately or see her outside or whatever.
Just for clarification and point of narrative, it has Makar. How long has it been since Makar found out that he is not a champion in this tourney?
About 12 hours.
Has he talked to? Then he would look at the Chamberlain, whoever is in charge of his tent, and if an eyebrow was raised by the servant, he would ignore it as he sips his wine.
There is no answer from inside the tent.
Marcia will roll her eyes in a very uncharacteristic Marcia move, and she's going to reach out and try and open up this tent herself because she has a conversation she has to have.
I'd like you to roll status for me. Because just like almost against these guards, as there's
Can I roll with reputation?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's this little standoff moment where they're not sure if they're gonna try and stop you, and you're not sure if you can actually kind of move through with it.
11.
I think there's a moment where one of them puts a halberd over the kind of tent flap to stop you. The other guard looks at him, and then you look at him. And And if you like, you can slowly push the halberd aside if you like.
Yup.
Cool. And the tent flap is not like sealed up, so you can enter.
She just opens it, standing still on that threshold. Your Grace. She'll give a bow or a curtsy.
Lady Greenmont, I'm sorry I didn't hear you over the hustle and bustle of Champion's Glade.
Yes, it would seem everyone is very busy. Large desire for fighting.
Would you like to have a seat?
If I may, Your Grace.
He would indicate one opposite him.
She'll come in and she'll take it.
I, in a very Terra RPG kind of way, would love for you guys to introduce two environment things for me. Two truths, essentially, for this scene. So, Makar, what's the one thing in your tent that you want to establish as a kind of environmental quality for this scene? So, like, could be like, you know, you're surrounded by camp follower hedge knights, or you're like, you know, there is only two seats. So it's something that will kind of flavor, but also mechanically introduce something that I can figure out for any intrigues we enter into.
As much as everyone hates it, I like to steer into Makar. So as he is a rock star, there is a gentle breeze that is somehow blowing through the back flap of the tent and touching his locks. And a strip of light seems to be focused just on the lavender eyes, the blue lavender eyes. As you walk in, it's almost as if he commands the elements inside this, his Sanctus Sanctorum.
Do you want more of a bonus to status, or to something like intimidation or seduction, or to charm?
Let's take it to insight, if I could.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Okay, +1 bonus dice to insight tests. Charlie, what's the one truth you want to introduce, bearing in mind that this is your tourney and this tent is essentially like on your kind of grounds right now?
So the truth I will introduce is, as the hustle and bustle dies down, because most of these champions are engaged in the melee across the field, the black shadow of Salistria catches the sunlight that's passing into this tent, and she just lets herself in, and she'll sit down next to Marzia in the tent.
Salistria is 100% going to provide +1 base influence damage to your intimidation tests. And
Famously intimidating.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, I think.
We did not have chance to meet at the ball, Your Grace.
Yes, apparently the music was unloved.
A number of the songs were not my choice, and I think poorly reflected upon us. Your Grace, I don't understand how you could find joy in that song.
Is that what you think it is meant for? Joy?
No. I think it is a mockery and lies. You certainly did not act that way.
This tournament, the moments and roads between the battlefield are still a battlefield. I do not need to tell you that. Siege weapons are not built of wood. Sometimes they are built of song note. It had the desired effect.
So it was your choice to have it played?
No. But when it rains, you still charge.
I had been seeking answers regarding various Dornish houses' dispositions towards us and towards peace. And all that was ended so rapidly. Everything I had been working for, it was if the music notes just carried it all away, and there you were, so happy with it.
Peace won must be peace kept. We have not known it in this region for how long now?
Too long, Your Grace.
Answer me honestly. Will we see peace?
If we make it, Your Grace.
Can you make it, Lady Greenmont?
And she straightens in her seat. And I think Salastria sits up in the same moment. And it seems that she's about to say yes, but then she sags and she shakes her head and avoids those lavender eyes. I do not know, Your Grace. I am trying. I don't know.
The young Lord Peake's betrothal is a nice start.
Is it, Your Grace?
Well, there must be. His is what most of the Dornish lords are most upset with. When I gave them the Blackmont.
And then you reminded them, not you, Your Grace. The song reminded them of it. I had been attempting to smooth past that moment.
It must be faced.
Perhaps Your
They
Grace.
must. If a song could take them from the peace table or break a peace so delicately woven, something else will surely be able to.
Perhaps it was also your reaction to the song. If you'd have seemed even a little disappointed that was how it was presented, it was just so far from the reality of it.
Was
far
it?
from... Yes. It made you seem a bloody tyrant with a chorus of vultures in your wake. We made it so that few died beyond those that needed to.
Do you know what many would view that as? Weakness, Lady Greenmont.
That is because many are warmongers, Your Grace.
And
we
you must
continue
appeal to the
tolerate it.
lowest ones. The warmongers wish to march. They wish to fight.
They do. But they are all running in circles and towards the wrong things.
Then we must give them every reason to fight and then have them walk back. Only then will there be peace. So they will hear the song.
To the prophecies of a weak woman, then, Your Grace.
Of course.
As I walked from that room, I sought answers and guidance. I reached out to the Blood Raven and asked him what I was to do for our peace. And I was shown a vision, Your Grace, that I've tried to make sense of. A golden dragon that came here, circled in the sky, landed before me, and then great bolts, spears, huge spears that fell all around. I think, Your Grace, we have a great enemy coming. An enemy that is smug and arrogant, but violent, powerful. And perhaps there will be a war on more than one front. But if only we could direct them.
Where? To who? For what purpose?
The only dragon I can think of that would threaten us, Your Grace, is that false one that sits in Tyrosh, that gathers wealth beneath him to fund great, furious armies, that sends showers of silver, those ugly golden dragons.
Would you have peace with them?
Never, Your Grace. They do not care for the peace of Westeros, for the wholeness of the Seven Kingdoms. They care only for themselves. As ever.
And what of the warmongers here? Not across the sea. Will
I
they
would have
join?
them. I do not know, Your Grace. I imagine there are machinations to make it so. There have been true spies, after all.
Then it is your job to weave around them.
That is what I am attempting to do. But it is hard. There are always so many hidden daggers.
It is the way of things.
There is someone here that I think is a danger to my family, Your Grace. And I do not know how to prioritize that.
And who would this be?
A man who brought bloody footprints into my house. Who marches through dawn with Reacher arrogance. Who corrupts my daughter. Sir Samuel Tarly, I have written complaints of him in the past. And although he presents a fine knightly front now, I think it is only because he can hide behind his father's army.
I
They
have
are
faced
our
paper
neighbours.
knights before.
They are our neighbours, Your Grace. And I do not wish to start wars. But I am afraid of him.
Lady Greenmont, you handle the peace. I can handle the war.
You do still believe that a peace could be won, Your Grace?
I believe a great many things.
Seven
I believe
kingdoms could be united.
It must be. There are threats, as you say, from multiple fronts. What harms one segment of the Seven Kingdoms will ultimately harm it all. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, Your Grace.
Do you think they have music across the sea?
I'm told they do. Lavish and garish.
Then I have a song I will send them.
I can suggest a few mummers you could send it with. I'm quite done with music for the time.
Give me their names. I will give them free passage.
There is a great singer out of Highgarden, and I will be glad to give you his name as soon as I look it up from my previous notes, because this guy is going.
Sounds good.
2 more things while we have a moment, Your Grace. Seems always such a hurried conversation that must be had and so many things to be dealt with. And when my daughter Miria returned from Dawn, she brought the tales of such terrible things that happened at Castle Ironwood. Prince Martell used great spears. Prince Martell conspires with many people. I believe the king is wise and chooses his friends with care, but
You have concerns about the hand?
I had not been made aware of his promotion.
It is recent news to me as well.
I am always honest with you, Your Grace, even though sometimes it scares me to be so. But you are fair with me. I do not trust the Prince Martell. I believe he is a great enemy to any peace. He does not protect his part. That part of the kingdoms for which he is a steward. He allows such great, terrible things to happen. He has been absent from Dawn all this time and has apparently grown only closer to the crown. I would believe he has aspirations for that throne as dark and as serious as that false dragon across the sea.
When I grew up, stomping the halls as a child, I was given several tutors to make me ready, despite being fourth. I learned many lessons, but the one I carry with me to this day, my instructor politic would tell me, someone in this place is trying to kill you. And as a child, I laughed. I thought it a game. And the next day he said, someone in this place is trying to kill you. And I chuckled. Every day, week and month, our lessons began with, someone in this place is trying to kill you. That is life. When we walk and others listen, there are always those that are trying to kill us. Walk with the same care. My family does. I'm teaching it to your son. Someone is trying to kill you, Lady Greenmont. And believe me, many are trying to kill me.
Tell me, Your Grace, was your tutor warning you of a stranger or of his own intentions?
On the 53rd day, he told me that somebody in this place was trying to kill me. Moments later, I had buried his own blade in his throat.
I am fairly sure this is the lesson that Samwell Tarly is intending to teach me.
He is too young. He is too young to be a teacher. But he is young enough to have lessons learned.
There are other dangers here, and the final thing I should let you know, Your Grace. At the ball when I danced with Lord Jourdain, I asked him if he was displeased with the betrothal to make me a better offer. I was curious to know how interested Dawn really is, and what offers there may be. But Your Grace, I have asked the Lady Myria. She is content with this match, and if you too believe it to be a fitting one, then please do not take this action as one against.
Of course not. And whether it is to be believed or not, my words are true. I am sorry for the trials that Lady Myria has been through. I wished only to protect her from such things at Summerhall.
I think you would be proud of what she has come to accomplish here, Your Grace.
I suppose we'll see.
And I must thank you for the gift of my teacher, Enzo's Sal.
Have fun.
Excuse me, Your Grace. He is the one that taught me of the terrible music across the sea and attempted to teach me to dance. I think I have proved myself better at Valyrian than dancing.
Show me. And he stands up and offers his hand.
She'll dip her head, take his hand, and say in High Valyrian, all men must dance.
With a chuckle, he would begin as the wind would then play with both of their hair. For this is, of course, his space. Yeah. This is like an REO Speedwagon video from the early 90s.
Charlie, what is the one? I'm going to let you roll a standard intrigue roll with Maekar, just for some short-term consequences and objectives. What is you covered a lot. What is the one thing you want here to really land, or to really press upon him?
It's a really interesting question.
We've got an insight against Samuel Tarly.
Yes. And a couple of convinces.
Yeah.
For other things. I don't think, you know what? Yeah, I will take that insight against Samuel Tarly, because Marcia doesn't know what else to do about Samuel Tarly right now. She can't do anything against him.
Okay.
And I think she'll just let the rest of the information sit.
Yeah. So this is going to be a persuasion convince against Greg, Maekar's intrigue defense.
Sure. Do I need to roll anything or just tell you what that is?
No, just let us know if Charlie equals or beats.
Convince or insight?
Oh, sorry,
Sam.
Insight.
Okay.
Just let us know whether Charlie equals or beats it.
Gotcha.
That's just a target number.
No bonus die. Salistria doesn't count because I'm not intimidating. 15.
Beats it.
Nice. So Maekar's disposition towards. Let me just grab it up properly.
So I want to make the most of having Maekar here to talk to, so I'm getting it all done while she's got a chance with him. He's a busy man. He's the prince. He can't go sneaking away all the time.
Sure. So an insight consequence is that the attitude to the house, or the attitude, so it's just Sam Mortali, shifts down a number of steps equal to, I'm going to say, half your persuasion rank. So I would say Maekar doesn't know Sam Mortali, but I will ask you, Greg, what we want to do here, because there are some options of automatically having it like lower, so you either dislike or just fucking hate him, based on the reputation of the house. This is one of the Reacher houses that has been one of the most rebellious in terms of its going off to Dawn, knocking things over, and like, kicking people, that kind of thing.
To stay in the mold of Maekar, it takes a lot to convince him to like someone.
Sure.
It doesn't take a whole lot to make him not like somebody. His like resting Targaryen face is hatred. So we
could put him on dislike to begin with anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's at least 1, so we're heading down to malicious, essentially. Each day you incite the target, their attitude towards the target improves by 1 step. Typically, only targets whose disposition is worsened to malicious attack the individual or members of the house or organization you indicate. So I don't necessarily think... so you could certainly reply if you want, Greg. We could roleplay a little bit of it out. But maybe we'll chat afterwards about maybe what Maekar's actions could be.
Sure, yeah.
But he has been incited to out and out do something about Sam Mortali. Sam Mortali, if we remember the letters that Marcia sent about the kind of betrayal that she had, it was Alistair Oakhart and Sam Mortali, essentially, with a flank of Oakhart knights who just came in. And
she also presented that the prisoner that had been murdered in her care, she believed was part of a conspiracy between them, and it's just a cycle pattern of behavior that she believes.
Yeah, good notes in chat. It's basically a murder that was kind of wrapped up in a capture attempt. It's also a breach of hospitality. Massive social faux pas.
Oh yeah. This is something that needs to be addressed, and
I mean, he's also known for having gone off to the Battle of Brimstone along with his father. So
right,
for sure,
helping everything out.
Yeah, it's just we're painting a lovely picture.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. So yeah, and Greg, what is the one thing that you want to really land with Marcia? Because we'll do the same thing. We'll do a persuasion or deception test, depending on what you want to do here, against her intrigue defense. And I'm going to give you a bonus dice because some of the roleplay was just fantastic.
Charlie, close your ears. He wants no. Maekar wants Lady Greenmont to act as the steward of peace that he proposed, that he's saying, go out, weave this in the strongest possible manner. But if it happens and she's successful, fantastic. But because of the things that have happened in the past, he believes he may be able to draw out some of the true warmongers. And if they make a move against the Greenmont house, he has cause to march.
So in a sense, is this like kind of a deception? This is a false motive behind getting her to be this champion for you?
I looked at it when I went in. It's inciting her to do peace aggressively, if I could work it in such a way.
It's not really. Incite is like making people hate other people.
Well, yeah, I want. Okay. Then yeah, it would be persuasion then. If that's the. Yeah.
Are you back with us, Charlie? Hello.
I'm back.
Oh.
You didn't really have to do that. I love that you did, but you didn't really have to.
All right.
So yeah.
So
I'll roll a convince.
Convince, yeah. But I want you to roll that ability.
You want me to roll?
Yeah, look, let me tell you how many dice I want you to roll.
Okay. You want me to roll? I'll roll 2 bonus dice then if you want me to roll the ability that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Or I would have 3 because I got a bonus from my hair blowing in the wind.
Yeah. I want you to
And-
roll. I want you
That
to roll.
Pan 10 bonus.
Okay, I want you to roll 6 dice and keep 3, based on the bonuses. I think. That you
Okay, so that means that I would need. Okay. 15.
15 against your intrigue defense.
Ooh. I just made the mistake of looking at chat. My intrigue defense is 12, so that is a success.
Okay.
1 degree.
So, Greg, I would love you to play out a little bit of what he essentially is asking her to do. What he's convincing her to do.
Oh, you want me to RP at the end of it, or?
Yeah, please. Yeah, just to frame exactly what you want out of her.
Then, as they are dancing, he would say to her, "Find the warmongers, Lady Greenmont. Convince them that peace is the path. The strong take the path of peace. Only the cowards follow ill-forgotten leads into war and desolation. You are my champion. Win."
Your Grace. Last night, when I removed all of the champions' titles, was only because I was tired, being disappointed by warmongers.
Then if you would permit me here in your field of champions, the title taken from me, I would give to you.
I hope that we are both champions by the end of this tournament, Your Grace.
Oh, and he would, Maekar, he would spin her around and simply say, "Lady Greenmont, I have already won."
And she'll smile.
It's exactly what I thought, Sam. I don't know. That's it, unless you...
Okay.
Can I just add one tiny thing?
Yeah, of course.
Your Grace, I hope we can find another moment to talk.
Perhaps on the winner's stage.
Perhaps a little more privately.
That's what I meant.
And we're going to jump cut to Mara. I want to move on to Mara now. I want to, because I have a bit of juice I've just come up with. So the fruits are wandering through some of the grounds away from the cheers of the crowd, the crashing of armor and steel. You walk amongst some of the tents, find yourself in between a couple of glades, and you hear children laughing and servants cry not to go too far. As you round a tree, inquisitive as to those voices, the short figure before you is of Bryn Greenmont. Charlie, remind me of his looks.
So little Bren has Marzia's slightly lighter hair than the Greenmont hair, but he has his father's green eyes, and he has one of those chubby, expressive faces. He doesn't do a good job of hiding his emotions yet. He's only 5. He's still learning. But if he's upset, you will know he's upset because he is known to cry loudly in the halls of Greenmont. And if he is happy, he will laugh just as loud.
The hair of Bryn in front of you is a mess, possibly from the play, or evading maybe the capture of Braith or any servants that are trying to find him. And he freezes as he looks at you from a distance, probably a few yards away.
I think I'd like to think that Mara recognizes him immediately. She's obviously seen him at the table at the ball and at the archery tournament. And I think she just kind of smiles because this is the first time she's seen her little brother up close since he was an infant. And I think she, not mockingly, like quite genuinely, kind of bows her head and curtsies a little bit. Lord Bryn.
He looks around for a second and then looks at you and asks, "Who are you?"
My name is Mara. I'm your sister. I haven't been here for quite a long time, though. You probably don't remember me. And I think she kind of sinks down, like to his level, because she's talking to a child. It's her little brother. She doesn't want to frighten him. She knows he's not going to remember her by her looks.
You're still at a distance, but he has this quizzical expression on his face as he looks around again. There's a little bit of laughter just in the distance, and he slowly starts to walk towards you. There's a crow that flies overhead and caws twice, and he looks up and then thinks, and there's some wider eyes now staring back at yours.
I think you also know a friend of mine, Sir Samwell Tarly. He won the archery tournament.
Is he the Red Hunter?
Yes.
I dreamed about the Red Hunter.
What was the dream, Bryn?
He won the tourney. But the sword he won, it caught him alight. He burned with it.
And I think she's trying not to look concerned, because she also knows that, dreams are important, but also children dream all sorts of weird shit too. Like, and he's seen a lot. She imagines this is probably his first tournament as well. And I think she listens and nods. Well, we don't always know what dreams mean. Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's something. I wouldn't worry too much.
You hear a rustle again from behind him. This time it's quick footsteps, light rustling through the grass, tall grass. And rounding a tree, you hear a young boy yell, "Wieland!" And another young lad, this time a bit taller, skinny, probably around 10 years old. Has curly silver gold hair, deep violet eyes that look at you, and pale skin of Targaryen blood.
I think when Mara sees him, she understands just from how this child looks that he is clearly of royal blood. And I think that she's already kind of like knelt down, but I think she bows her head in respect towards this young child. And I think she waits just to see if this kid has anything to say, if he acknowledges it, like before she tries to carry on talking to Bryn. She doesn't want to be rude or piss off royal blood, because she's heard rumors about the Targaryens and their tempers.
Yeah, he marches forward. He yells like, "Who are you? Get away from him!" And he actually calls over his shoulder for guards, and then he's like pulling Whelan back.
I think I think at that point she doesn't stand. She just kind of addresses him. My apologies. My name is Mara. Mara Oakhart. Was once Mara Greenmont. This is my little brother.
How is he your little brother? You're so old.
We have different mothers. My mother died when I was quite young, and my father married again, the Lady Marcia. Unfortunately, he died too. But the Lady Marcia was pregnant. And so she had two boys. Bryn being one of them. I haven't seen him in a long time. I haven't been back here in many years.
Whelan looks at Aegon Targaryen, and then back at you, and then says, "I hadn't finished my dream."
What was the rest of it? I think she approaches to move closer now, since neither of these two kids seem particularly upset by her presence. Like nobody's gone running off screaming. So I think she moves closer and kind of sinks down almost beside him and like just gently places a hand like on his back in like a comfort.
Yeah. That come running from the crowd was his huntress with a bow, and she tried to stop the hunter suffering, and so he looks at your face again with that kind of concern. She had to kill him so that he'd stop screaming.
I'm sorry that you've had such an upsetting dream.
Like Arian like slaps your arm away and like puts kind of like boisterously, as boys are somewhat tend to do, and kind of takes him like round the shoulders, almost round the neck, and starts to walk him away. And you can hear him saying, "It's all right, Whelan, you know, it's okay." And he's comforting him, but there's a little bit of attack
Like
there.
like
There's
possessiveness almost.
kind of, yeah, you know, just where kids don't get their tone right, but there's a little something behind it. The words he is saying do not chime with the way he is saying it. But he's walking him away from you now, as two blackly armored with red trim guards in full plate armor stand forward with the Targaryen helms, sword hilts, with their hands on their sword hilts, looking towards you and standing in front of the two boys now.
I think Mara for a moment ignores the Targaryen guards, just for a split second, because she's not focused on that. This is her brother. And I think that while she doesn't try to like grab him or stop him walking away, I think she reaches out just to touch the edge of his shoulder so that he looks back at her. It is so good to see you. I love you so very much. When this tournament is over, I will write to you. Would that be okay?
I mean, you can't see them as you start talking, but as you do, he gets off of kind of under from Arian's arm and kind of turns around, and you can see that he's been crying. And he just looks back at you. He doesn't answer.
I think there's a bit of Mara that just instinctively, as a big sister, just kind of opens her arms out, not in a forcibly like come here and give me a hug, but in an offer of comfort. Like, if you would like a hug from your big sister, you can come and give me a hug.
And the final person to round the corner is what's her fucking name?
Wraith?
Lyra.
Lana.
Lana.
Lyra is technically his aunt because
True.
that's Marcia's sister.
It's true.
But spooky Auntie Lana.
Auntie Lana rounds the corner, and as the boys are being shuffled away, ushered away, thank you. She exchanged a concerned look to you. She has paused for a second to see that it's like she recognizes it's you, but she's in like serving mode, and she heads off and takes the boys away. You're left in these woods between these two glades. The Champion's Glade is not far from where you've been walking. You can see now, you can hear behind it in the distance the bustle of the melee, and just adjacent to that, the hospitality tent.
I think she considers for a moment calling out after Lana.
Mm-hmm.
But after a second to consider it, she realizes that this is perhaps not the place.
Sure thing.
Too many guards, too many people. And she knows that she had every right to see Bryn. Marcia said that Bryn, she would have Bryn brought to her. But obviously there hasn't really been an opportunity because of the ball and then the tournament. So, and it's not like she went looking for him. She went wandering to take a break from the melee because Samuel wasn't, fighting at that time. And I think that this dream just kind of lingers for her because she too has experienced dreams that had a meaning, a very deep meaning. But I think she tries not to think about it too much. Like, she doesn't take it perhaps as serious she might have done if this had been Simon that had told her about a dream, because he's a child at a tournament. Everything is exciting. He's seen a lot of violence as well as a lot of cool stuff happening, and Maekar is also there, so the imagery of dragons isn't too far from anywhere, especially if he's been like hanging around with the Targaryen kids. And I think with kind of this in the back of her mind, there's a part of her that almost thinks about maybe this is something that Marcia should know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she doesn't go looking for Marcia immediately.
Okay.
I think she goes looking for Enzo.
Okay. I want to go back to Enzo actually. So I will absolutely introduce Mara towards the end of this, but I wanted just a short scene to kind of lay something down. So you're heading back towards the actual tourney grounds themselves, and that takes you just past or by the hospitality area, which is just adjacent, pretty much in the same kind of gladed area as the smiths, and the traders. As you walk by, there's still good business being done by a lot of the traders, and there is a fairly averaged mix of people. There's no particular preference for one trader or another that you can see, and yet you catch Kiri's eye, and she is dealing with a customer, essentially. As she was talking, but she gives you that kind of double kind of take as she's dealing with him, and her speech slows. You can't quite hear what she's saying, but she just asks for 1 minute for this knight that she's dealing with. And she almost runs to you. She races towards you, and she says, "I've got a bone to pick with you."
What do you mean?
That armor you asked me about the other day.
Yeah.
You got it from someone else, didn't you?
Yeah, I got it from gentleman. Do I see him?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I got it
She's like,
from
him,
there.
yellow tent, green trim.
Yeah, I got it from him.
How'd it fare?
It is fine, as far as I know. Why?
There's a certain unspoken agreement that traders have at these things. He's scalping prices. He's undercutting everyone.
Oh, right. Yes, that would make sense as to how he did that. I did not think at the time it was a bit of a rush. I am sorry, I did not know.
He needs to go.
What are you telling me for?
Or perhaps you can do something. But look, don't mistake my words. This isn't a request. He has to go, one way or the other. I'm not responsible for what these other guys will do.
Okay, I will see what I can do. All right, I will see what I can do, Kiri. And again, I am very, very sorry. I was not really thinking. I was just thinking about getting the item, and it was short notice. I will do what I can.
I charge a lot because my stuff's good.
I know.
All right?
I know.
Stick
do
with
not
me
have to
next
tell
time.
me. Of course. I will never make that mistake again.
Damn it, I want to roll a convince now. I want some dice.
Do it.
Go on, roll a convince.
And for that very good northern accent, Sam, you should have a bonus die.
Throw a bonus
Oh, yay.
dice in.
Okay, I can roll another. I'll roll another d6.
Yeah.
So that is actually going to be a 8.
I'm afraid
Nailed it.
that doesn't break
No.
my... No, right now.
Cool.
But
All right.
it's Kiri's.
No, that's
yeah,
fine.
so,
There's no
you know.
well, there's no short-term consequence. There's no actual thing,
Yeah.
but she's let you know at least.
Okay.
Signs
Are there
off, fix it.
any hollow hearts nearby? Any guards? Just bog standard guards?
Charlie, how guarded is this place now, considering last night? Any
The
new
tournament
orders?
grounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most of the force have moved up to the tournament grounds for today, because if it didn't burn down the tent village last night, then it's probably everyone's now schemed to do something today. So just, extra vigilance.
Okay.
Hang on.
Yeah, you can grab a hollow heart, no problem.
Cool. I'll grab a pair of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you mind? There's a merchant scalping people, and I fear for his safety over the tournament. So, if you would like to help me persuade him to do more fair prices, I think Lady Marzia would be greatly appreciative.
Tom, is he inferring persuading? Is this like a protection racket style, or
Kinda,
is this...
yeah.
Okay.
Enzo's going to be there, and he's going to have the 2 house guard next to him when he says, maybe you should actually start. So, like, he's speaking with the authority of the house, and if you don't, these 2 gentlemen right here are going to escort you out of here.
That is an intrigue I absolutely want to frame and come back to. Maybe
Okay.
maybe we pitch it like that night when he's closing up, something like that, right? When there's fewer people around.
All right.
As you're talking to these hollow hearts, Mara appears. Not having come from, say, the hospitality tent where you might expect her and Samuel to have been, but she's come round from it's more like, weirdly enough, she's kind of come roughly from the Champions Glade, which is kind of behind the hospitality and in like the way the crow flies. It's a bit of a weird thing. She's kind of almost come through, not even a path. It's like she's kind of come through the woods a bit.
Oh, okay.
But Mara, maybe thinking that this is one of the 2 main places to look, you found Enzo straight away. You've not gone to the actual lists, but you've come here first, and he's here talking to a couple of hollow hearts.
So are you already talking to this merchant? Like, that no?
That's for
okay.
later.
We're gonna do that later.
Yeah.
I think Mara watches him finish talking to these hollow hearts and then kind of approaches. She kind of hangs back. She doesn't want to look like she's trying to impede in the conversation. And I think she just kind of looks at him, looks at the hollow hearts, looks back. Vala Mogulis.
Ah, well, so good to see you. What can I do for you?
I was hoping that perhaps we might talk.
Of course.
And I think she quite likes Enzo, what she has seen of him so far. He seems like quite a fun individual. And I think she goes to take his arm in the way that, people do when they walk and talk, because she is a lady. It's, she is very much used to when she speaks to men, they offer their arm. That's weird courtesy. And I think unless he shows some upset at that,
nope,
she will quite, like in a friendly way, take his arm and lead him away from here. I have to say, I really do apologize for that night that you came to speak to me in Samwell, and I perhaps had too much wine along with the cards.
Never apologize for having too much wine. You were enjoying yourself. Who am I to say you cannot drink?
Well, I think there are plenty of people that could tell me I shouldn't drink, but
but I would not be one of them.
And that, Enzo Sal, is why you are interesting.
Oh, you find me interesting, do you?
Well, you're a famous pirate and you've found your way here to my father's halls. Of course I find that interesting. The few letters that I have had from Marcia, she mentioned that you were her tutor.
Indeed I am. Well, I do not need to teach her anymore.
What was it that you wanted to speak to me about that night? And I think she tries to pull them off to an area that isn't like secluded where no one is, but like they can have a private conversation.
Okay. He kind of looks and he goes, it was to bring up bad memories, my lady. Fortunately, Samuel filled in the gaps. I wanted to get your version of what happened all those years ago. I have heard the Greenmont version. I did not hear your version. I'd like to get the whole picture.
I see. Wow. And I think she kind of has this nervous energy about her, because no one's really asked her about this yet. No one's asked her directly about this in a very long time. And I think that once they reach a place where it's slightly more private and quieter, she'll kind of let go of his arm so that they can converse properly face to face.
I'd like to think there might be maybe like a log that's down that you can sit on. That just kind of looks out over the field and all the tents and stuff.
And I think she unslings Samuel's bow that she's got crossed, like she's wearing crossbody because she's had it ever since the archery tournament. She can't sit down with it, and kind of lays it across her lap and like plays with the wood carvings and the silk that's wrapped round the wood. What was it you wanted to know about that night?
I just wanted to know your version of what happened and, well, why you did what you did.
I didn't really do anything.
Oh, please don't misunderstand. I did not mean you were strictly, but the reason for your actions after it, I suppose, would be more adequate.
Alistair didn't tell me what he was planning to do. I only found out afterwards. He kept that from me because he thought I might warn Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't trust me. If he had told me, there wouldn't have been bloodshed. No one would have had to storm the halls.
What would you have done?
What I have done, gone to Marcia.
And then
Put the
what do you
three
think?
of them in a room together so they could sort it out. If Oliver did what he was accused of, then of course he should have to answer for that, but not the way that he did. That wasn't justice.
No. Not from the stories, anyway.
They announced, Oliver and Marcia, they announced their engagement, and Alistair stormed off. Marcia told me to stay in my seat. I wish I had. But he was my husband. I went looking for him. Started shouting about whether I was an Oakhart or a Greenmont. Stupid, petty jealousy.
And at the time, what did you think? Were you an Oakheart or a Greenmont?
Marcy and I had spoken, and we thought at the time it would be best that she was the Lady Greenmont and I was the Lady Oakheart. We had houses and lives, and that was the only way either of us were going to get through anything. And I loved him then. I followed him outside, and then before I knew it, there were armed guards storming past us. And I was out there, and I didn't know what was happening. And I was frozen. He didn't tell me, and then there were men, Oakheart and Tarly men, marching through those halls. And then I don't even know how much time passed. And he was coming out, and they were running, and he grabbed me, and I went with him. Of course I would. He's my husband. 3 days it took on the road to Highgarden. He wouldn't speak to me, barely wanted to see me. Eventually, he told me what he'd done and his reasons for it, and I really wanted to believe him. He looked like he was sorry. He told me that he didn't mean for it to happen the way that it did, but how do you even process that in a moment? When you're on your way to Highgarden and everything that I was attached to him. He was my husband. What was I supposed to do? My father once told me when I asked him about war, what happens to the injured men? Why is it they keep going, even though they're hurt? When they could be healed, but instead they fight to the death. And he told me the story of how a blade can cut so quickly, so sharply, that a man doesn't even realize that he's been hurt, run through. Perhaps you know something of this if you have seen any fighting. And with the heat of battle, with the heat of war, with everything going on, they just keep going. And then eventually when they take a breath, they can finally stop fighting because they've reached their side of the line, then they realize that they're bleeding out and they collapse, and all of the terrible things that have been done to them overwhelm them. It's what it felt like. Afterwards, after he had gone, after I lost my child, and I grieved. And then the more time was put between what had happened and where I was, I realized what he'd taken. Oliver was like a father, an uncle. He was family to me. He was like a father to Miria. And he would have made Marzia happy. And Alistair knew all of that, and he did it anyway. I would do anything to go back and change that night. Anything. And if he had just told me. And you can see she's getting frustrated at this. So she's kind of playing with the bow and she's running the silk through her fingers. And you can see her knuckles going white as she grips onto it.
As he sees that, the knuckles going white, he's going to gently place his hand on the knuckles and give a little squeeze, just as a comfort. And have you told Lady Marzia and Miria this?
They know.
Do they know what you told me, or just generally?
They know that I didn't know. They know how long it took for him to tell me. And surely they must understand, Marzia especially as a woman who has been married, what it's like to feel like you have to stick by what your husband does. They blame me still. I was banned from the ball because they didn't want me here.
Miria, the Fyre, temper that she has. I could understand. You, though, were not directly involved with the murder of Sir Oliver. You did not, I suppose, publicly denounce it. In fact, quite the opposite, if I'm not mistaken. You tried to, in a certain sense, defend your husband, which, as a noble lady who is married, is her duty.
Who was pregnant?
And who is pregnant, of course. Lady Marzia, on the other hand, I think would have been more forthcoming if perhaps you sooner went to her. It has been 5 years. And
I've written, but she's a house to uphold.
Indeed. I just think that maybe if you told me what told her what you told me sooner, she may have understood a little more.
Perhaps.
It is not too late. But you did say that you would do anything to change anything that could happen. I mean, you cannot change what is in the past, but perhaps a conversation with Lady Marzia could open up other ways to apologize.
Perhaps. I don't wish to cause her any more grief, though, at a time that must be so stressful running this tournament. And I fear that there are perhaps some things that we will not see eye to eye on.
Oh, of course not. Not everyone sees eye to eye on everything.
She does not like Sir Samwell. And I am quite fond of his company.
Of that, and I am sure he is, and I know that he is fond of yours. But in regards to that, with Sir Samwell, you have had the joy of his company for a few years now, no?
I have. He found my brother for me. I thought Simon was dead, and when I was at my worst, there he showed up at Old Oak with a letter from him. Soon after that, we ended up traveling for a while. It was good. I saw more of these kingdoms than I think I ever thought I would.
Very nice thing to do. And Samuel, before all this happened, he was close with you and Alistair, yes?
Close with Alistair, more. He was perhaps a bit more than an acquaintance for the most part, but at the trial he was good.
Could almost say that he loved him.
Perhaps. He must have cared for him to believe him enough to do what he did, but looking back now, I know he regrets it more than anything.
As do you. That moment you say that with soldiers, how they just keep on fighting through adrenaline, keep going until the very end, and they don't realize they have been wounded. Mara, I believe you are still doing that. You just don't realize it. The simple fact is, you have a lady of a house, and you have duties to do. And all you have been doing these past years, from what I can tell, is running away. If you want my advice, it is time to face those duties. Because they will not go away simply because you keep running.
No, that is true. But I think I figured out what it is that I want to do, and perhaps I do have duties, but I have a duty to myself. Not to the man that sits rotting in a prison cell.
There is something we say. I am not of noble birth, I am a commoner. And it is something we say on the common streets. People dream of being noble. To not have to worry about having food on your table. To not having to worry to feel the bite of hunger and starvation. But there is a price to this. And that is, your life is not your own. You owe all the fact that you never had to feel the bite of hunger to the family that prevented that. That is the consequence of noble birth. Or at least from what I can see from Westerosi nobility.
You are not
I might be
wrong. But I think that perhaps the women of this realm suffer that far more than the men.
Yes, I do. I agree to that. Yes, I mean the men do have a lot of power, and although they too have to do their duty, they too. If should a lord decide to call the banners, they have to go.
That is true. But perhaps you can understand this question. As somebody who clearly enjoys a good party,
Of course,
clearly enjoys being happy,
of
would you
course.
say? What is the point in power and nobility and wealth if you have to live your life miserable? If your children have to live their lives miserable, if their lives are never their own, if wealth and power cannot just offer you any real happiness, what is the point? To keep a wheel turning for this realm so that there can be more war, so that there can be more death, more misery. Perhaps, in the view of many, my life is not my own and that I am not entitled to that. I disagree, Enzo.
I disagree too. I feel your life is your own.
And one day I wish for my sons and my daughters' lives to be their own, not be held by stupid traditions, and not have to suffer the misery of ignorant men.
No. But just to put forward to potentially just for you to consider, would you risk the misery of starvation for you and your family? I myself have felt the harsh bite of starvation. And compared to a life of nobility and starvation, I would go with a miserable life of nobility.
I think she thinks about that for a moment because she's traveled, she's seen the small folk, she has spent time in smaller villages. They, her and Samuel weren't staying in keeps with lords, they were staying in inns and taverns and rented rooms. I'm sorry that you suffered that. Nobody should have to suffer that. Common folk or noble.
But they do.
They do. Would I suffer through that to have my life my own?
Perhaps.
Perhaps I would.
You could potentially lose everything that you have. Would you be willing to do that?
Any noble in this realm can potentially lose everything they have at any moment.
That they can.
The difference is that they are so afraid of losing it. They will make themselves miserable to keep something that will never give them what they want.
Time is unfortunately ticking away, friends.
Okay.
V, did you still want to tell Enzo about Whelan right now? Or did you want to approach it a different way?
No, I think if anything, after they have this moment of kind of questioning each other, I think she does change the subject eventually because she'll end up saying too much.
Damn it.
However, I would like to speak to the Lady Marcia.
Good.
I ran into... I think she thinks she's ran into Bryn. She doesn't know that Whelan's here.
Mm-hmm.
You certainly heard his name a couple of times.
Oh, okay. That was just me being stupid then and not realizing. I get them mixed up. I don't know which one's which.
This is the
understandable.
You called him Bryn. He didn't say no, I'm not.
That is true.
But you heard people say Whelan.
I ran into my brother, Bryn, maybe Wieland. I can't tell them apart. I haven't seen them since they were babes. But he said something worrying about a
Wait,
dream.
it was probably Bryn. I think Whelan is still in Summer Hall.
Perhaps they were. He was playing with one of the Targaryen children, it seemed.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, sorry, you were saying.
He talked to me about a dream. It was troubling.
Mm.
If you could perhaps speak to the Lady Marcia, tell her that I should like to tell her about it. I'm sure that she will understand why I wish to speak to her about it.
Would you like to tell me what this dream is of, so to give her more information?
She'll know. If you tell her, she'll know.
Do Greenmont women always have dreams? Like, you know.
Strange dreams?
Yeah.
I don't know if my mother ever did. I know Marcia has told me before that she has had dreams, but I don't know if they're of any consequence. I have had one the night I lost my child, but only the gods can say which of them tell us anything and which of them don't. But she will know why it is important when I speak to her about it.
Very well, I will relay the message to Marcia. But should you gain audience, I would strongly ask that you tell her what you told me, about what you felt, why you did everything, and of course, it would give her a better picture of why you did the things you did. And maybe a path to reconciliation.
One can hope.
Shot.
And I think she returns that comforting squeeze that he gave her on the hand, but this time it's a little bit more. It's not sad. It's almost a thank you. And I think she stands back up and dusts the dress down, slings the bow back over her so she doesn't have to carry it, and just kind of looks at him. I will head back to the list, to the melee, see what is going on and who has got through so far.
Of course.
That is a perfect moment to bring Greg back in, as Makar's lot is drawn for this round of the melee. Greg, there should be a little button, a little macro button in the bottom left that says contestant on the Roll20.
There is not, but I can definitely find it and put it in my bar. There it is. Okay.
I would like you to click it, please. It's going to give us a random cool contestant for you. We've had Corgal already, haven't we? He's already gone through. Sorry, re-roll the table for me. We've already had Jourdain. He's come up already. Oh, yes. All right. So, on your opposing side, as 7 knights line up against another 7, the only 2 juicy contestants in this contest, in this first round, your first round of the melee, is Longthorn Tyrell himself, Lord Paramount of the Reach, and Tawny Knight, famed Tawny Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, possibly the best to have ridden in history, they will say. You have a chance to possibly best him and ransom him in this melee. You, of course, have other knights that will be fighting you as well. Some on your side, some on the other. Essentially, you are fighting in order for your contestant to be, your opponents to yield, to be ransomed, and the tradition goes that they will ransom you will ransom their arms and armor back to them in order for them to depart with their stuff, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So as the melee begins again, Charlie, would Marzia be taking her seat to watch Makey
Yes.
to fight?
I think
Yuki.
she's tried to be there kind of as much as possible for the major melees.
Mhm.
A, because she is the one who essentially organized this tournament, and B, because there's a lot of important people fighting in it, and she is a healer and she wants to see when it happens so she can be there to react because she's that kind of a control freak.
Cool. Enzo, you up in
And-
the box?
Enzo's there in the box, and just before the bout to start, Enzo quickly leans in and whispers to Marzia, "I need to speak with you later, quite quickly, after the fight."
And I with you.
And V, is Mara? What's Mara up to in this? Is she watching? Is she heading off somewhere?
She's
else?
I think she is going to watch. Is it possible that she can find a seat beside Lord Will?
Roll a quick status test for me.
Does breeding come into it at all?
Yes.
16.
That is a success. So, a bonus dice for Maker. That's lovely. Thank you, Pope. So yes. So you managed to get a seat next to Felian Will, Lord Felian Will, who was defeated, I believe, yes, in
Yes,
the
by
last
Samwell.
round. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah, of
Um,
course, of course.
She doesn't really have any plans to make any plays with him.
Mhm.
She's just making an appearance and, compliments him on his fight.
We can roll a simple intrigue for that. Absolutely. Towards the end of
She's,
this.
she just wants to buddy him up a bit
Yeah, for
because
sure.
they've already met. So, but nothing. She's not trying to push him to any objective. She just wants him to like her a bit more.
Yeah. Tom, I've thrown you the knight NPC in Roll20. It would massively help if you chuck in a couple of knights and just do some harassing of Maekar or Leo. I'll front Leo Tyrell.
Consider it done.
Yeah, pick some actions and do some stuff for me. All right. Greg, feel free to narrate what you're doing, and we can work out what the actions are that you're actually doing mechanically as well, in terms of that. There's cool things like you can attack recklessly, cautiously, you can try and outmaneuver your opponent, all that kind of stuff. So we can figure it out. Yeah.
Did you see what Susie put in chat? Maria
No.
dashes in slightly sweaty and aching.
Perfect. I'm gonna impose my GM caveat there and say that she heads to the box to sit with Marzia, and that it doesn't take a retarget to notice that she is a little bit disheveled, a little bit. So who knows? Lovely. Right. Okay then. So Greg, I need you to roll for me an agility quickness test, and Tom as well for you for this.
Sure
For
thing.
this dude. Try and beat a 13, and you'll go quicker. What will you actually have to do is deduct your. So that when you look at your armor in the intrigue and combat tab, there is an armor penalty. I want you to deduct that from your roll. So I actually get an 8.
I get a 10.
I get a 10 as well.
Oh, I'm gonna let Maekar go first.
Naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, what's Maekar's plan of attack? There's 7 knights on one side, 7 knights on the other, and as the Charlie, I don't know what your starting pistol style thing is, but there's a trumpet maybe, and the knights smashing
I would imagine it's the flags drop, right? They each have a herald, and all of the heralds
Nice.
drop the flags.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All the heralds are now dropped the flags. The charge is ready. What's your plan of attack?
Let's give the people what they want. I'm going straight at Longthorn.
Yes. All right. There's Maekar decked in this huge black Targaryen armor, enameled with 4 red dragons on the chest plate. Leo Tyrell is adorned in this lavish armor, green enameled with golden roses, all like not carved, but like all molded and stuff into the seams and into all of that. And he looks beautiful as he stands tall in his armor. You head straight for him. What's the plan of attack here? Is it just charge in recklessly? Is it cautious? As you head in with your like two-handed mace, as he heads in with his bast sword and shield.
Right. So yeah, being on foot and starting this instead of mounted, he had a sword before for the mounted conflict that created the song that wasn't that popular, but yeah, as he charges in, this is going to be, at first it looks like he is running in reckless, just a blind kind of overweighted charge. But as soon as he gets within a few paces, he would slow and almost skid a bit on the grass as he digs in his boots and comes in cautiously to strike. And he's hoping, he knows they're going to be interrupted, and he's hoping to get something done quickly with Longthorn.
Lovely. Okay. So I would like you to roll for me your fighting bludgeon specialty dice. So you can click on bludgeons, but you will have a penalty dice. But after this, you will increase your combat defense by 3 until the beginning of your next turn.
Okay, fighting bludgeons, penalty of 1.
Yeah.
Also, I have
You got
things.
2 test dice you can add, and a bonus dice you could add from your frame.
Test dice is automatic success, correct? Isn't it a degree of success?
No. So a test dice is your fighting would go up from whatever it is to like 5 or 6. I can't remember what you are.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
It's a keep dice. It's an extra keep dice.
Okay, let's use one of those right now.
Okay, so just cancel what you've got just now and just up your skill temporarily and then roll it again.
Sure thing. Take it to that. And you said I do have a penalty die though, right?
You will have a penalty dice. Yeah.
15.
Okay, now combat defenses because of armor and stuff tend to be quite low. So you've scored 2 degrees of success against his combat defense of 9. So you cautiously, he goes in, he's almost going to try and meet you, I think, aggressively head on. And because of that cautious nature, you manage to duck and weave a little bit out of the way and swing a palpable hit with your mace.
I would like to do this then if I can, Sam, because I have on my Great Maul Shattering, I would like to reduce his armor bonus by 1 since I have 2 degrees of success.
You absolutely will. Yeah.
Okay. Now, with that, am I allowed to, because I scored 2, can I reduce the bonus and then use one of the degrees of success to stagger him?
Yeah, sure.
That's what I'll do.
That works. I think it is staggering anyway. So let me just double check what that is, because you might just get that anyway.
Okay.
We've got weapon qualities. I want to just try and do this fairly quickly because we are heading through time a little bit. Whenever you get 2 or more degrees of fighting test, shattering, that's shattering, staggering. Whenever you get 2 or more degrees of success on a fighting test with a staggering weapon, you may sacrifice 1 degree to prevent your foe from taking a greater action on their next turn. You crash into his armor and you stagger the man back. Tall though he is in his enameled armor, this enamel kind of paint and stuff flakes and flies off, almost showering you and the helm that you have on. And he's pushed back a couple of paces. Tom, the knight on his side, I would reckon sees this, and I'd like you to intervene.
So on Makar's or the other?
Yeah. You're on Leo's team.
Leo's team. Okay, so he is going to intervene. All right. In that case,
with gold in his eyes and
I can do this.
A need
I can
to
go kill him.
defend his Lord Paramount.
Yeah. I'll
Just
do
pretend he's
this.
not a prince. Just pretend he's not a prince.
Yeah.
Just smack him.
He, in that case, then, he is going to aim
Okay.
and then attack.
Aim and standard
know what?
attack, so you get a bonus dice.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is 21.
Oh, Greg. What is your combat defense? It'll be on your,
Muted.
Sorry.
it'll be on your intrigue
It-
combat tab.
Yeah, my combat defense is 7.
7 take away 21 is 14.
Is that with the +3 that you gained from your fighting tactics?
Oh yeah.
Wait, don't
From your
forget
cautious attack, Greg. Add the.
I
add
think
the
you said it
3
was
on.
3. Yeah.
Okay, so that would be 10 then.
Okay. So this is 3 degrees of
that.
success.
3 degrees of success,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's
Which
this damage,
is
base damage?
4, which goes up to 12 with 3 degrees.
Okay. Greg, I forgot to ask for your damage. So, what can you click on the damage thing for your
My maul?
bludgeon? Yeah.
Oh, it's nasty, I think. So I can...
It should tell us 6. It was 2 degrees before? Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2, so that's...
You had to sacrifice a degree though, right?
I did for the stagger.
Yeah. So this is going to do 6 damage. It's essentially dented the armor. And because full plate is going to give you 10 armor rating now down to 9, he's not going to take any actual damage. The knight is going to deal to you. What was it, Tom?
12.
Sam, did I do an additional AC bonus because of my maul? It should have dented and then down to 8 for Longthorn.
10 down to 9
Oh, okay.
for the shattering. Yeah, 10 originally.
Oh, okay. I thought that was part of the other thing.
And we are dealing 12 damage to Makar, which is going to slip through and do 2 points of damage to your actual health.
Gotcha.
For your full plate.
Bloody full plate.
Full plate, mate. That's where it is at.
Yeah.
Up in the box, Marcia's hand sneaks towards Enzo's as she's watching the knights just belt like 10 mils of shit out of each other.
100%. 100%. Okay. It's Leo's turn, and I think he is going to have to. No, he can't take a greater action. Okay. And I think all of the attacks are no. No, they're not all greater actions, are they? Okay, so he can do one.
You can do a standard attack.
He can. He's not. I don't think he's actually within reach because the staggering. That's the kind of. That's the thought. My effect of it, right? Is he's pushed back a bit, and so I am going to have him. We've got standard, combining pin, divided attack. They're all greater, lesser. Is counter attack lesser? That's what I wonder.
Counterattack is greater.
Ah, bummer. Okay. He will. I think he will just move. He will move along the line a bit so that Makar is. So that you would have to move essentially, and then you couldn't do a greater action like your cautious attack or something. You would just have to move in standard attack. So he moves up the line a bit, having been staggered. Moves back, tucks in. That's a kind of tactic you would imagine happening in a battle. He stands back, he moves across, and then he engages again. Or he's about to. Leo is on the run, absolutely Pope. So Makar, it's back up to the top of the round, and it's your turn.
Okay, so I have a knight basically engaged with me,
Yeah.
and then Leo has cut to the back and moved a bit. Yeah, what the hell? I mean, just gonna what are the different things I can do since I'm fully engaged? Can I I know that I can do cautious attack, which bumps up my defense going forward. What's reckless? What's that do?
Basically the opposite. You get a +1 keep dice to your attack, but you're at -3 combat defense. -5 combat defense.
Yeah, we'll do cautious then.
You can aim and standard attack and just get like a bonus dice, and then you won't suffer any penalty dice, but you also won't get any combat defense bonus.
Yeah, okay. Let's do the regular standard attack. Let's just straight up, no bells and whistles right here. And
okay,
that's
because you've got another lesser action. We're gonna add an aim in there, so get a bonus dice. And as you just kind of like step back, square up, ready, and then strike when you're ready. So you're gonna add a bonus dice to this roll.
And I'm gonna no, switch it back down. I'm gonna add my other bonus die I have in and keep that test die.
Sure thing.
So this 2.
This poor knight.
25.
25 against the knight's combat defense.
Well, let's see. He has a combat defense of 5.
Cool. That's 4 degrees of success.
He's going splat.
So, Craig, so you could sacrifice a degree of success in order to stagger him. Tom, his armor will also be reduced by 1 AR.
Okay. Yep.
After this attack.
Okay.
Did you want to sacrifice? What's your Maul's damage again?
It's athletics plus
6,
1,
isn't it?
6.
Yeah, I whatever I rolled for.
Yeah, that's
6.
right. Yeah, 6. You would be doing 24 damage. You could wait. Yeah. Yep. Or you could sacrifice a degree and do 18 damage and stagger the knight as well.
And narratively, he's doing this because he doesn't want to do anything that like cripples this guy potentially.
Okay.
So as he spins the maul back around, he is going to jam the non-blunt in his throat, and that acts as the stagger, just getting right beneath the helmet. And as he spins, maybe reminiscent of something that could potentially happen in the future, he takes the maul and just lays it along the side of this knight's helmet.
Nice.
It
is double his combat defense, so I am going to just check our household house rule crits. That is a piercing hit, so Thomas is going to ignore 2 of your AR.
Okay.
So that is going to be 18 damage, ignoring 2 of your AR.
All right. He. How many degrees of success was it? 3?
3.
He is defeated.
Okay.
He has 0 health left, and hang on, maybe you can take.
You could take a wound. You could take an injury.
I'd need to take at least 3 wounds, wouldn't I?
No, a wound just ignores all of the damage.
Oh, in that case, he will absolutely take a wound and yield because absolutely just got twatted.
All right. He just
That's
has
the technical term.
That's the technical term. He got twatted.
If he's defeated, he's just. To be fair, it's either mechanically for defeat. It's the same outcome. So
yeah,
he is going to get. Well, I mean that's the thing. You can take the wound now and then you can yield, or if because of the defeat, you can let Greg decide how he's defeated, and Greg, that can be everything from ransom to death to maiming to.
I am going to let Greg decide how this poor bastard is defeated and what injury that you wish to inflict.
So you can decide the nature of his defeat narratively now. You can kill the guy.
What house is he from?
You can.
He's a head. Oh, go on.
He is a kind of hedge knight of quality from the Reach. He owes no allegiance at the moment. He's not wearing any house colours, but you get the sense he was kind of allied with Lord Leo in some way. It's basically his Lord Paramount, right?
Then he has no reason to splatter this guy, as he would take him down, and as he would take him down, and I'm assuming that the shot drops him and he maybe raises a hand to yield. He would indicate where he was struck by the knight and simply say through his helmet, "Well struck," and then turn towards Leo and advance. If narrative.
Yeah, sure thing. Okay. Leo sees the maneuver you're making, I think, as you stride and kind of push forward, probably push a guy out the way, as they're then engaging with someone else. So behind the opposite line, and you've got you and Leo, and he's standing ready. But I'm going to give it over to you at the top of the round.
Okay, so if he's ready and can I close and still do a standard, or
Yep.
are
so
we
you
considered
can move and then do a standard attack for sure.
Okay, then that's what he would do. He would just move in standard, not
You can still cautious as well. That is a
can
lesser
I
action.
move in cautious?
Oh,
That is
cool.
a lesser action. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Okay, I will move in cautious then. And so that's a penalty die, right?
As you bring your mace up to bring it down against Lord Leo, he's going to counterattack as he comes in with his bastard sword, probably in more of an undercut as you're preparing.
Do you go first or?
Yes, yeah, I basically interrupt. He's readied an action, essentially.
Right, gotcha.
14 against your normal combat defense.
Yeah, and that is it still 10? 10 then.
So that is just 1 degree of success, which isn't really going to do any damage with little 4 damage. Okay, now you get to actually make your attack. As he slices, you're bringing like it's running across your chest plate. You're bringing the mace down on top of him.
Okay, and I would like to, because I mean, go Targaryen or go home. I'm going to add the 1 die, the test die, to my.
Sure thing.
And I do have a penalty, correct? Because of cautious.
Yes.
20.
Oh. That is going to be 3 degrees of success.
I stagger him again and take another AC or another armor.
Yeah. So actually, you will only be doing 12 damage, and another 2,
Yep.
obviously, then is knocked off his health. We are getting quite close to it, and I just want to also do a little bit more conversation. I know that Charlie wants to talk to Tom in terms of character stuff and stuff like that. So I'm going to need to wrap this up quickly. What I propose here is a fighting off test. Just an opposed check. Long blades versus bludgeons. We've had a nice back and forth, but let's see and figure out how this actually resolves. Just roll your bludgeons for me, and I'll roll my long blades fighting. Oh, 28. So, yeah, doing that amount of damage is definitely going to be enough to defeat Lord Leo. He's not known for his melee prowess, is much better at the tilt. The difference there being, I mean, you scored more than double his result. I'm going to say this is a crit. And just with 1, you're going to ignore some of the armor again. So I reckon narratively that works. You go in at the same location that you shattered his, like the top left of his breastplate, to try and actually get in and, like, again, stagger him and to wind him and to get him to yield. There's, like, I think a moment where he staggers back, goes onto 1 knee. It looks like he's still going to fight, and you're just, like, standing over him, ready to go again. And there's just a pause, there's just a moment of his kind of head turning, and he then drops his sword, puts his shield up between the two of you, but he does say yield as he pushes his visor up.
Makar would offer a hand accepting the yield, and if taken, he would pull Longthorn up, and as he pulls up, in as much of a jest as a Targaryen can, he would say, "Stick to the horse."
I intend to, Your Grace. I hope that we can perhaps tilt, and perhaps then I can show you my prowess.
I'm sure you will. And he would clap the side of his pauldron as the side that's not hurt. He would go, he'd go other shoulder. Yeah.
For sure. As the melee this round comes to a close, the big drama and the reaction from the crowd is Maekar Targaryen defeating Leo Tyrell. Obviously, Lord Leo was not present at the Redgrass Fields. He was much busier within the Reach, dealing with some lords in terms of their rebellion and trying to put down rebellion in his lands. But some here today believe they see what would have happened had Leo Tyrell gone against the crown. But of course, that's a whisper, and no one is really saying it. Marcia, that wave of mixed jubilation and shock and surprise waves over you from the crowd, from both sides, from the common folk on the other side, the small folk on the other side, and the lords and ladies here that are present in the stands. Bryn is here, I think, and particularly interested in this fight. He, are you bringing him up to be kind of like, you know, Lord Leo is your Lord Paramount and this, that, and the other? No. Okay, cool. So he's like, yeah, Uncle Maekar.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think it's more that because he's been to Summerhall to visit Uncle Maekar, and you know, it is Lord Leo is leader of the Reach for now. Kind of, you know, we're nice to him, but he's no one special. Yeah. You know, we pay our taxes in that direction.
Yeah. When Maekar wins, Bryn gives you a smile.
I think Marcia would have brought her son into her lamp. She's like got Enzo's hand in one hand, her son is under an arm in the other, and I think she'll help Bryn stand up on her lap, even though it's not the most you know, in decorum of things, so he can get a better look down and be excited. And she'll be excited as well, although I think she'd be scanning to see if Leo was injured, like watching how he walks and stuff, in case she does need to go and check in on him.
I didn't think we got him any injuries. No, I think we're good there. But what's your passive awareness?
My passive awareness is actually so I've got that floor haunted, which affects awareness, but I think it's only in combat. It's a really weird one. I don't remember. I'll just say it applies for now.
I think it's everything. I think I said combat only, but I was wrong. I think it's everything.
All right, so her passive awareness is normally a 3, but with the floor it's she's at rank 2, so it becomes 8.
Okay. Cool. That's it then. No more info.
Oh, no, actually, it's just tests. You take a -1d on awareness tests, but during the first round of combat, so you may add. Yeah.
Have you got any notice bonus dice?
Nope.
Okay. Oh, I don't know how to break the tie. Oh, fuck it, the juicy fruits. As you are clutching Enzo's hand, and as Maekar wins, and Bryn gives you a smile, and there's that kind of acceptance from, say, you and him as the family of what's happened. You have a look around the crowd to see how the crowd are reacting. You catch Sir Stefan Jourdain's face as he just looks at you, and he kind of smiles and claps politely at what's happening, and then goes back and gives a good clap to the contestants as the others all finish up.
I think she gives a small smile back, but it's just like a smile, not really any meaning behind it. Just, you smiled at me, smiling back. And then attention is straight back to Maekar and Tyrell. Like, Jourdain isn't important in this minute to her.
Sorry, I've been abducted by a cat.
And then she'll let Enzo's hand go. She'll suddenly realize she's been squeezing his hand, and she'll let it go.
Interesting. Lovely. You wanted a moment with Enzo, I think, too. Did you maybe want to?
I think she'll call for a pause in the melee for today. The sun is hot. It's time for dinner. Yeah, exactly.
This is the first day, and we're done. Yeah.
Yeah. And she'll thank everyone and blah, 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 blah type thing. And then Bryn says his little piece that's, you know, the standard, thank you for coming to my tourney type thing.
Well done, Unky Makey.
Yeah. And then we'll file out
Mm-hmm.
But walking with Enzo, and I think we are going back up the hill towards the castle, kind of
Sure,
away
there's
from
going
the
to be
crowds.
dinners and stuff in between.
Is Bryn
Absolutely.
with us?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, oh no, actually, well, yeah, Charlie, if you don't want him to be,
I
he
mean,
doesn't have
I think
to.
she would have brought Bryn with us, but we can find reasons why he wouldn't be. Like he doesn't want to walk all the way up the hill. He wants to stay with.
Bryn
You want
to
him
be
with
with
us?
us.
All right, yeah. She'll bring Bryn with then.
Just
We're going up to get changed for our evening outfits.
Yeah.
It's very important.
absolutely. So yes, sort of walking up, he's nursing a squeezed hand, and did you you seemed a little tense during that fight? You weren't worried, were you?
I'm always worried. Just because it's a pretend battle doesn't make it any less of a battle.
Ah, so you were worried that His Grace would kill someone, or that he would be injured,
I
or
don't
maybe
know
both.
if my fears were so specific. The sound of metal on metal is enough. And so
Indeed. Oh, yes, I had something to talk to you. Although, but you had something to talk to me about. Would you like to go first? Forgive my manners.
No, it's quite all right. Why don't you begin?
Oh, of course. Well, I spoke to Mara not too long before the melee, and she would very much like to have a word with you. More than a few words.
Well, I'm very busy, Enzo.
I know, but I think this is something that you should consider. She said something about a dream. She wouldn't go into details or anything like that, but she said that you would understand.
I would like to read Target. I want to know if Enzo is lying to me about Mara having dreams. That's Marx's first, like, he knows something and he's using it to get me to have this meeting with Mara.
Super quick intrigue, friends. Let's do it.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. You've got time, right?
Yeah,
Fine.
I should note, Mara did tell Enzo that it wasn't her dreams, it was Bryn's or Whelan's, whichever of
But
her brothers she ran into.
he hasn't said that yet. He
So
has
he said
just
about
said
a
dream. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he's not being deceptive, but
So awareness
mean-
test. Well, that's it. I know he's not, but she doesn't
Yeah.
know that.
yeah. Sorry, what is it?
11 versus your passive deception.
Passive deception. I'm not being deceptive.
It's okay because it'll tell me that, right? 'Cause it'll tell
8.
you. Okay.
So yeah, I'm not being
So
deceptive.
I'm aware of your disposition and I'm aware of the last technique you used.
Okay. I am affectionate towards Marzia, and I have not yet used a technique.
Yeah.
When does she propose this meeting?
I imagine whenever it is convenient for you. You are the lady of the house, after all.
Is that what she said?
No, that is what I say.
Well, I had promised that she could go to the Godswood. Perhaps tonight she can meet me there.
I think that would be a good place to meet.
Alone, Enzo.
Of course, I would not presume to be there.
Not you. Her companion. He is not invited.
Of course, I will tell her that.
And tell her she had asked for a meeting with Bryn. His lordship, if it pleases him and he is not yet asleep, can come as well.
And he turns to Bryn and he smiles. He goes, Bryn, you have not spoken to Mara yet. Your sister?
No, I haven't seen her yet. Although I saw Samuel Tarley spoke to him. They came together, didn't they?
They did indeed.
But I haven't spoken to her, no.
He smiles. Very good. Very good. In that case, that brings me on to the second thing that I wish to speak to you about.
Yes, Enzo.
I do not know if you are aware, but Wylan is also at the tourney.
My son is here.
That is what Mara said. She was not sure which son it was, he believed it was Bryn, but according to his lordship, he has not spoken to her. So that leaves only one other person.
You see Bryn is getting excited now, and he just makes reference to, well, His Grace brought Will in here, and he starts tugging and pulling and speaking a little bit faster to you, Marzia.
Maybe after dinner we shall go and see your brother then.
I thought this would be good news.
It is, of course.
Good. I like
Very
to put
good
you in a
news.
good mood. If you could perhaps keep that good mood all the way up into the conversation with Mara later, that would be even better.
And so why are you so determined when it comes to Lady Oakheart?
I am determined when it comes to Greenmont, my lady. I don't like to see a family fractured.
Pleases me to hear you say that. I don't either.
Mm.
And that brings me to what I wanted to talk to you about, Enzo. I wish to offer you a more permanent position here as part of the household. And as part of this, I will find the funding to restore your ship.
Matzia, that is a lot of gold to restore the Mimic Sapphire. A lot.
I cannot promise it tomorrow, but you have served us for 5 years. Been my friend and advisor. It is only fair that debts are repaid. His Grace has always been very clear.
What would the position be?
My advisor. A master of law.
A pilot, a master of law.
Yes.
I mean, I think taxes might be increased a little bit, but I am very grateful for such.
I cannot offer you a knighthood, cannot offer you master at arms, but I've always needed an advisor.
How about this? I thank you. I do not want a knighthood or too many things attached to such things. I enjoy being independent, not committed to one thing or another, you understand. And I am more than willing to be your advisor. Of course I would. But I would like to do it as your friend, not as a position. Would that be suitable?
Then I will offer you half the funds for your ship.
Damn it.
She smiles.
He smiles and smirks back and sticks his tongue out at Bryn just to make him laugh.
Enzo Sal, I have no doubt you will find the remaining funds you require.
One way or another. And when I do, and she is restored to her full glory, we are going on a trip.
I hear the summer isles are very nice this time of year.
And I guess we walk up to the castle.
Which hat shall I wear tonight?
Oh, well, I've got this beautiful one. It's a second one. You can't wear the same hat at the same time. So anyway.
All right. V, is there any last 5-10 minute off chance that you want to speak to Mako at all?
I think it would be interesting if they just cross paths. Mara has no reason to seek out Mako, but I imagine that this is as everyone filters off now and the melee's kind of done, at least here, people are shuffling around, people are moving around, and she's not gonna be she's not staying in the halls. She's going to be, looking around trying to find Samwell so they can go back to their camp.
Mm-hmm.
She ain't walking around the tourney grounds by herself after hours. That's not a thing. She's not going back to the camp on her own either.
Oh, sure.
So,
I think you find Maekar and Lord Leo, Boss Leo, chatting. I think, kind of just walking. Leo slightly, not limping, but you can tell that he's got that kind of muscle strain and stuff going on. And as he sees you, he kind of excuses himself from Maekar's presence. Greg, out of interest, have you ransomed Lord Leo's stuff back to him, or have you just?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay, well,
No.
or have you let him go with his stuff for free?
The ransom, whatever it would normally be, it would be something very symbolic, like the equivalent of like a wooden coin, that something that knights would pass back and forth as a measure of whoever had it at any given time. One of those things that is used in lieu of.
Okay, yeah, like a little trinket, like you've won this round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so he gives you that token, that kind of favor, I guess. Yeah.
It would have like a rose on it or something.
Yeah, nice. Okay. I think it's metal. I think it's cast as something like they're posh enough. Let's face it. So he's got the funds. He gives you one of these little kind of
golden rose
coins. Yeah.
I think Mara probably sees Maekar, like she's not intentionally looking for him, but it is respectful. She sees him, she stops, she curtsies. Your Grace.
Lady Oakmont, is it?
Lady Mara Oakhart.
Oakhart, right.
I just want to add something mechanical in here. Something that we use as an optional rule for intrigues, and it's to do with kind of dispositions and stuff, but it's about recognition. Where is it? Our new rule book. Okay, so I would like you, B, to roll a status test. Reputation bonus dice applies.
I don't have anything in reputation. I only have stuff in breeding.
A difficulty 12. That's your target number.
Okay.
With a penalty of to the result equal to your opponent's rank in knowledge.
Okay.
So, Greg, what's his rank in knowledge? What's his stat in knowledge?
3.
3, 4, 4. Cool.
Okay, I'm gonna use one of my bonus dice then because I don't have any in reputation.
Okay.
But so 14, that comes down to 11. I can do math.
It's not quite enough. What I will say, because it's just shy of it, is that Greg, this is something I didn't quite, I think, include in the brief because it was more of a personal nature for like Samwell and Mara for their plot. But there's something, this Oakmont thing. It's not just necessarily that you don't maybe know who she is or maybe you're playing that off. It's just that there's something about her, some gossipy thing about her going on, but you can't. It's far below you, and you're just like, okay, sure. But
he's not going to concern himself with figuring it out, right?
Yeah, right. But something's been said, something's happened.
Okay.
You fought well in the tournament, Your Grace.
Thank you. It is a fine tournament.
That it is, yes. It is good. I don't think I have seen any even Targaryen knights fight before my wedding tournament. But it was truly amazing to watch. She's very genuine, she enjoys tournaments. She likes seeing these, and she hasn't seen really the Targaryens ever fight because they're royalty. It's not all of them get involved.
He'd be making his way probably back to the champion's tent in the glade if the melee is over, but he would offer his arm. Walk with me.
I should be honored, Your Grace. And I think she probably says something like that in Valyrian as a mark of respect. She speaks Valyrian.
Oh, well, you're speaking Valyrian then, guys.
Yeah.
If you want. It would be Maekar's, more of Maekar's natural kind of tongue. It's this
Yeah.
whole like French was spoken in English court for ages. I think that's such an ingrained thing
Yeah.
that I want to make that they are speaking Valyrian.
I would be happy that Mara would do that. And she will take his arm.
It's fluent, it's passable, it's not like
Oh, she's
I've
not
got
like
it down,
fantastic.
you know, yeah.
Like, but it's understandable.
As they would be walking, he would say, I was on the melee in the field, but how goes it in the stands? I know that the fighting can be just as fierce.
As far as I have seen, Your Grace, I haven't seen any fighting in the stands. Perhaps. And she pauses for a minute, considers what she's about to say, and then decides she's going to. Perhaps some whispers about the song that was played at the ball. I didn't hear it myself, but I fear that it's got some people riled up. But then this is a tournament, and if it's not one thing, it's probably something else.
What does it say for someone if a song riles them up? Brittle
Wow.
spirits.
My father once told me it was a great crime to lie to a prince. So, if I am honest, anything will rile up the lords of any kingdom, especially at times like this where there has not been true peace for such a long time. A song, a misspoken word over dinner, some assumed slight, and in a place where men's blood is already running hot.
How idiotic, don't you think?
I do, but then these are the same men who are wise enough to rule houses. Nobody is infallible.
What do you think they put first? Their houses or their rage?
I think they think the two are the same thing, Your Grace.
And that is where we have a problem.
Men think that there is glory in war for the sake of war. I think the only glory that you find in war is if it actually brings about peace.
We are of like mind, Lady Oakheart.
Thank you, Your Grace.
What do you believe in? War? Peace? Something else?
I lost 2 brothers to a war, then eventually my father to an old injury. He made a bad choice in backing a rebellion. And she's not trying to hide the fact, like she probably knows that Maekar knows which houses sided with which. But I was not old enough to know if what he did, he chose to do because he thought it would bring peace, or because of one of the many other political reasons men come up with for going to war. But I don't want to see peace. Sorry, I don't want to see war. But I do perhaps wonder if we are not going to see peace in the realms until there is war.
As long as men rule houses and their egos and spirits are brittle, there will be war.
Yes, but that is the way things have always been. There are
Is
a few
it?
exceptions. The Lady Marzia has looked after this house, has taken charge of it. I supported her in it myself.
And look what she's done. What if all of the houses were run in such a fashion?
Perhaps we would have less fighting.
Lady Oakheart, I couldn't agree more.
But while there are some women, like the Lady Marzia, the Lady Rowan, who can hold a house who have the support of the people around them, that is not true across all of the kingdoms, Your Grace. As I'm sure you know, women are owned by their husbands, or at least that's what they think. We are not seen the same, treated the same, allowed the same freedoms. There are many things that have to change before we can have more women in power, or convince these lords to find something to do with their time other than make war.
What are you going to do with your time?
I hope that in my time, I can make my life my own. And I hope that in my time, I can be somebody that will bring about peace. Or at least
not?
contribute to it.
Why not do both? You have influence, do you not? Your traveling companions?
Sir Samuel Tarly, you mean, Your Grace?
Is that his name?
Yes. He is the eldest son of Lord Tarly. He very much feels the same way. He doesn't want to see this realm plunged into another war that it does not need.
If that is true, then we are of like mind. But
I
if
believe
it is,
so, Your Grace.
if his course ever changes, if he plots a new one upon the map that is his life, maybe you could remind him of his original course, the star that he should be going towards. Loyalty, honor, peace.
I very much believe that's what he wants, Your Grace. Peace. He has made mistakes, ones that I know and believe he deeply regrets. The things that men do when they are young and foolish and do not understand the consequences of their actions.
Greg, I would love you to roll for me. Simple intrigue. Your choice of persuasion. So hang on, what's these new options here for a simple? I believe are your choice of deception, persuasion, or status versus the target's intrigue defense. Because you are of such increased status to Tamara, you get to just roll this as a simple one roll by intrigue.
So I can roll reputation?
Yep.
Let's do it. 34.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that'll do it.
All right. So I think from what you've been saying that Mara, your I think what I'm getting is Makar's objective was along the lines of you're going to try and dissuade Samwell from war, from inciting others into war, from stuff like that. That is now your obligation to Makar. So, like we said at the very top, now we've got these rules. The option is yours to play out.
I think to some degree, I think to some degree it is true in terms of war and war with Dawn. Mara has never liked the Reach being at war with Dawn. She doesn't like war. She knows Samuel doesn't either, and I think that it's not unlike her character to want to persuade him out of war if she can. She does believe that, you know, if war happens, then once you're in it, you kind of have to fight it, but you don't go starting them if you don't have to.
Sure.
So I think that kind of lines up with what she would do in terms of trying to act like a moral compass.
Okay.
In
Yeah.
that sense.
So we can invoke that. We can have Mara do that if you like. If you decide not to, if you decide to actually act against that, then you'll generate some stress. You'll get a point of stress basically, and that will take you down to like -1 dice on certain tests. I think some of it is like status, awareness, that kind of thing, as it stresses you out. As you weigh up your obligation to make her in the crown, as you do to Samuel, if he decides to, that war's the best thing ever, and off I go, kind of thing, right? So yeah, cool. All right.
He would end it by saying
Yeah.
the following. Then it says, that, I believe that Tarly wants to help and wants peace, and he would turn and pull his arm away as he gets to his tent. That is very good to hear, Lady Oakheart. In fact, I know that there have been disagreements in the past. Let us keep them there. Have, what is it, Samwell? Have Samwell write a public decree reaffirming his status in love and duty to the crown. And I will personally co-sign it.
I'm sure that he would be very happy to do that, Your Grace.
Enjoy the rest of the tournament. Make sure you keep your shield up in the stands.
And I wish you good fortune too, Your Grace. If you are in the joust, may your shield stand true too.
Longthorn will knock me off my horse. And he walks into his tent.
And I think, if that is clearly meant as a joke, she will laugh and curtsy as she walks away.
So the Greys quickly go Targaryen or go home, right? This is your obligation now. This is the objective he's succeeded in.
I think that's kind of
Samwell to sign this reaffirmation. If you decide to not do that, then you'll generate some stress.
I think she's okay with this because
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, she personally hasn't picked a side. She doesn't really have any strong political allegiances right now, and she doesn't want war, and Samwell doesn't want war. And if this means no war, then she's happy with that choice.
I think Don knows where the juicy fruits are there. Right, let's wrap it up. We've gone a bit more over time because we had a bit of a hiccup towards the beginning for sure. But I'm glad everyone could stick around, so thank you so much for that. That was yet again a couple of little storms from Maekar as he comes in, and he's the anvil, right? So I guess now we know why, because he treats people like anvils. So there we go. Cool. We've got loads of intrigue to sort out next session. So I've already got scenes planned. I'm going to start. I've literally had NPC intrigue queued up that we've not touched in about 3 weeks. So sorry guys, no requests for next week. They're just happening as we go to dinner next week. So that's the plan there. Let's go around and chat and promote and shill anything we want to as we wrap up and find out how that was for everybody. Charlie, let's obviously start with you at the top. Wayland's here.
The fictional mother, I nearly cried when you said that Wayland was here. Marcia's entire heart just kind of exploded and wasn't ready. I did set the agenda that she wanted to ask the Wayland back today, but there was a lot of politics to do, and she chose to be a good servant instead and deal with that first.
I had Greg queued up. If he was going to be mentioned, he's like, well, he's here.
I know it was really close, but then I think there were just other more important things that she had to deal with, like protecting her other children against evil forces,
like Samuel Tarly. Greg and I are going to chat about that after the show.
I am sorry, Don, but Marcia's disposition to Samuel hasn't changed this entire time, and she saw an opening to rescue Mara. So she took it, and she has people she's afraid of, and she doesn't like being afraid. She's not a sheep, just for the record. Super great game. She is a cat sometimes. That was something else I wanted to have happen today. She wanted to tell Enzo some stuff, but on the walk up the hill, I decided to divert to the other thing she wanted to talk to Enzo about, which is kind of getting him fully Greenmonted up. She wanted to get him the full gear. We were gonna, wear matching hats and green. A whole Jersey situation. But I feel like they reached a good compromise, as she genuinely does promise to get him half the funding for his ship.
Nice.
So yeah, it was really fun, and as much as we were decrying Mara in chat, I thought the scenes that Mara did between herself and Enzo, and then with Maker, I missed a tiny bit of it, but Virginia did an outstanding job. It's rough,
Yeah.
sometimes to do those scenes because it's a big world to take on and to put yourself in those shoes. But Virginia did an outstanding job, as did her scene partners, as ever. Yeah. So hey, you can come to the Godswood, Mara, as we agreed. And you can meet your brother as we agreed, and we'll see what happens.
Nice. Cool.
I'm Charlie at Encounter Roleplay, and also myself. So if you want to play games, come see me, because I could probably hook you up with one. And if you want to talk about this, come see me, because I will be talking about this for the next week. That's what I do. Come catch the Crownlands on Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, over on Encounter Roleplay. Sister campaign to this game. Juicy fruits are happening there. We're 5 years in the past, but we're still affecting the future. It's a lot of fun.
Crazy. The burning of Tyrosh.
Burning of Tyrosh.
Do I get to play
It's
next
still
week?
nearly got his ass kicked.
Do I get
It was
Jamie?
a good siege. Sorry, what was that, Sam?
Do I get Jamie?
Yeah, you get Jamie back.
Yeah.
It's Jamie and Adeline's adventures this week.
Yes. That's what I'm about. And my little squire.
Your little squire.
Squire Thorn. Wait, no.
No. The other one.
You know it's going to be. Alright. Awesome.
Right.
Cool. Thanks so much. And Tom, starting to dig into it a little bit, right? Starting to put the pieces in their place.
Yeah,
Figure things out.
You gotta do it slowly. You know, it's a slow burn.
Got a little.
Yeah,
got
yeah.
A little,
I may have something late that night to do.
Get your hat, mate. You've pulled.
Yeah, it's great. And you know, I mean, that's just another way of getting Marzia where he wants Marzia. You know, it's all. I mean, he's telling himself that, but realistically, he's flustered. You know, to be honest, he's flustered. But in his mind, he's telling himself that. That was really good, really, really good. All the intrigues and everything were great. I can't wait for next week. I mean, parties and feasts. I mean, it's more of a feast than a party, but you can put the two together. Yeah. It's going to be great because, as we know, nothing bad ever happens at feasts in Game of Thrones. So we're all good, all golden. And yeah, it's great. And again, always, it is so amazing to have Greg here. You know, I miss role playing with you, man. I really, really do. And it's just an absolute, it's just a gem.
That's great.
I love it. Absolutely. I love it. But yes, I'm Hotflakes Tom, or Tom, on the Twitters and all that jazz. My other show that I'm doing is on Encounter Roleplay, Tuesdays, 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern, where it's Call of Cthulhu, Secrets of Pendragon. You would think it was serious, but it really isn't. It's just a comedy at this point. I did try going serious. The players had other ideas, and I just went with
it. Yeah. It's a good game, though. I look forward to it. All right. Thanks so much, man. Thanks so much. And V, I loved all of Mara's scenes today. I thought they were great.
Thanks. She's had a lot of time to think at this tourney because, you know, she's not really there with the oak carts to talk to, and so she spent a lot of time figuring out kind of how she feels about things. And yeah, it was kind of cool. I like Enzo acting as this kind of go-between. I like that Marzi's like, yeah, we'll invite her to the Godswood. She hasn't been there yet. Oops. And, you know, tell her to come alone. She might not. It depends on how she feels. I don't know if Mara is invited to the feast, so that could be juicy. But also, I finally got to have a scene with Greg. I've never actually been, I don't think, live on an episode where Makar's been a character. So this has been really cool. And just, Greg, I've got to say, you look absolutely terrifying as Makar, and I mean that in like the best possible way. You look like a completely different person. And You roleplay him so well. I actually kind of like him. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to, but I do. But no, I'm excited to see what this means for her and Samwell, because Maekar's kind of objective there isn't necessarily against anything that she has wanted, or necessarily too far against, I don't think, at least as she believes, what Samwell wants, which is peace, not war. But it's whether or not that's a political allegiance they want to make together, and how that goes. So I'm sure they'll figure it out.
See what they're going to figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know where Mara is at in terms of Samwell, and me and Don have spoken, so it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait for the tragedy. It's gonna come, and it's gonna be wonderful. But no, I'm just looking forward to it. This was such a juicy episode, and I want to know what Enzo's up to. Tom.
Hey, Tom. Hey.
I have so many questions.
Absolutely. Cool. All right. Right.
Yeah.
Quick, any plugs? Quick.
You can find me tomorrow. Usually I'm with Susie doing Fragging Friday, but Susie's away, so I think I've roped you into playing Sniper Elite with me, Sam.
Yeah, I'm down.
And Charlie, I mean, it's implicit if there's Sniper Elite going on. Maybe I'll try and bribe Tom into it as well if he's around. But yeah, we'll be doing some different Fragging Friday, shooting some Nazis, so that will be good. And then follow a voted stream Monday, and on Wednesdays I play The Witcher 3 over on my Twitch channel, where I continue to make questionable choices that my chat hate, because we love Yennefer in this household. That's about it.
Nice. Thanks so much. And Greg, thanks so much again for coming on to guest. I hope you don't mind just a couple of scenes. But I found this season more than anything, like, I haven't got enough time. It's not going to be a 10-episode season either, I don't think. We just can't get it all in. So yeah, thanks so much for coming on again.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is an absolute blast. I as much as Maekar is a complete and utter asshole, I like playing him. It's fun to kind of come in and just, like, shake the beehive and then leave. It's the nicest, it's the best way to RPG. But it's like all of the fun and none of the consequences. But yeah, I mean, believe me, assassination's coming from Aegon. We got it. But it's a lot of fun. I love playing with everybody tonight. It's just a joy. Incredible role playing, incredible story. To make something as much as a retail exchange intriguing speaks of how fantastic the story is. And Enzo getting in trouble for basically price shopping is just great. I mean, it's the best. Fantastic job, Sam. Each and every week. Keeping all of these powerful personalities into their characters isn't hard because they're pros, but reining them in with scene after scene is masterclass stuff, my friend. Oh. But I'm Greg. I'm not on social media. Watch all of these people, follow all of these people. They are the best, as are all the other cast members. And the last thing I will say is, ever since Dawn's epic May Black Roses Bloom campaign, I forgot how fucking heavy this armor is. Back to you, Sam.
Thanks so much. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, if you enjoy these juicy fruits, like Charlie said, head over on Monday to encounter role plays. Check out the Crown Lands. 8 p.m. Same time, 8 p.m. and 3 p.m. EST. And then we're live with After Fyre every Thursday, 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. EST. I am Sam. I am the head of product at Modiphius Entertainment, but I am also one part of Black Cats Gaming. We are a little indie, at the moment, RPG publisher. We've been busy working on the Spy game, which we kickstarted last year. So if you like 5e, and if you like spies and international adventures of espionage and action and stuff, then do check out our quick starts available on Drive-Thru RPG, and keep your eyes peeled for when it comes out in a few months' time. If you want more information, you can go over to blackcatsgaming.com, and you can also follow us on social medias and here on the Twitch at followblackcats. I think that's my main plug. I think it's
Got a
my
couple
main
of
thing.
other things to add. Shout out
Yeah.
as ever to Roll20. We're in the spotlight program for
Yeah.
this show. All of those roles today, making the story happen. But I also want to shout out what Susie's up to. If this isn't enough Game of Thrones for you, if we don't talk enough about the show on 2 different Discords, several Twitter accounts, Fyre comes out on Fridays, and it's Susie talking about characters, giving you all the extra juicy details. Highly recommend checking that out. And we also have from Pope World Build, Maester Barnaby podcasts about the sister campaign. So there's all this extra content that we're spewing in your direction. That's a charming way of describing it. So please check that out. But yeah, Spy Game is huge, and I'm so excited that it's nearly done, Sam. I'm so excited.
Me too, man. Me too. Absolutely. Like, Tom, quick show us the merch. You've been wearing the merch. There's some After the Fire merch. You can get it on the link that's in chat now as well. Yeah, we've got like a wiki as well. You've got a world anvil as well for Crownlands. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. If you're coming to it new with fresh eyes and you want a bit of context, you can go all the way back to season 1. We're on season 4, and you can head over to the YouTube as well, which is a link in chat too. So yeah, that's it for us this week, friends. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are joining us again, and thank you for joining us if you're new to it as well. We absolutely love this game, and we love that you do too as well. So I'm not going to raid anyone this week, but I am going to head off pretty soon. I have a long ass day in the car, but I want to chat to these fine people after the show. So thanks again, and we will see you next week.